and welcome to the 14th episode of the Record Around podcast. This is a series in which we take representatives from different record arounds across the subreddit and discuss topical matters in the world of RRs. It's been a while. We've been out of action for 2 months now? Blame us. We were terrible at getting this sorted. This is the first time in 14 episodes we've actually had to use a doodle to find a date for it, so congratulations on that. As for our members for today, we are not joined by Grant because of the time we're recording this, but I'm joined, as per usual, by Maximum50.
Hey.
Kazmic.
Howdy do.
And no longer Lego. We miss you. We miss
you
already.
R.I.P.
But to compensate, we have a stand-in guest regular, the Sonic Joey, back from episode 1. Welcome.
Hi.
And we are joined today by Risk and Reward. So say hello to Kowalski.
Hey, hello.
We have Burning Tramps.
If you're some man.
We have Longa Vita.
Arr.
Oh wait, that's it. Wait, is Kren's not here?
No.
No.
Oh.
Did you not get the message?
No.
Did you not get the memo?
That's it.
Well, he's not here, so.
I'm not gonna be saying much this time around because I'm not really.
No, I never did actually tell you Kren wasn't going to be here. Oops.
But I will leave you in the capable hands of these fine gentlemen. I'll be listening in, playing
Define
FIFA.
capable.
If I hear anything I don't like, I will intervene. So,
as you can see, we've been blessed by iPad Batfan.
You have.
iPad
the legend. It's a bit of a legend of the series, really.
Up there with Bafdan.
No, it's one of the greats.
Have a good one, guys.
Thank you.
Fan smells.
Already.
It's been 3 seconds and I've already heard something I don't like. Are you serious? Now?
Do you mean silence?
Matey.
So I guess of the many things that there are to discuss today, we're gonna hit the whole episode off with a recorded roundup, where we talk about some recent recorded rounds. Although I guess in this case, some not so recent. Any relevant recorded rounds over the last couple months or so. Gonna be in the segment.
Ever since we last did an episode, which was a while ago.
A while ago.
It was the 27th of August.
Was it that long ago?
Oh, dear. God.
That is long ago, wow.
I swear it wasn't our fault.
This is what happens when R&R's next on your list, mate. Nothing's done that for another 6 months.
Everything slows down.
Yeah, it slows down when you're with us.
Oh, no.
But at least it becomes amazing the first time around once you get something done right.
Yeah.
When you get eventually done.
At least you didn't have to redo your intro. We have to redo ours every 5 times.
Only 5.
Well, 5 at least.
So the first recorded round
Thanks,
on our
Joey.
list for the recorded roundup this time is Desire Season 7.
Also known as
Does
the
anyone want to start
Amactus
talking
Fan
about that?
Club.
I mean, I guess I was in it, but that's because I should.
True. You
I-
would have
I-
insight.
I have inside information. Although I don't
I-
know
I-
what to talk
I will
about
say,
for
I
this.
will say, we were certainly not disappointed. Desire did say on their podcast they had someone no one would guess. We indeed did not guess Amactus.
I was so happy when he played though, because I play on Stratus Network a lot, and I know he's one of the admins, and I was so happy to see someone outside of the Reddit community join it, because that was so cool to see him play.
Wait, what was the name?
Amactus. Or Amacactus or something like that.
Amacactus.
I'll say I know him personally.
I am
That's how
familiar
I was-
with the person of Amactus, yeah.
That's what I always thought his name was pronounced, to be honest.
I'm a cactus.
Yeah.
NC
That's-
Bomber?
that-
Who isn't?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Oh no, it's perfect.
Amacactus.
If only.
Yeah.
But,
Who is Amactus? Is he a
He's
moderator?
a mod on the Stratus Network, or used
Oh,
to be known
that's
as
why
the
I
Project
know
Eris
his name,
server.
obviously. Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
Of
I
course,
figured you
of
might know
course.
him, Kowalski, maybe, because you were on there quite a lot.
But
Yeah.
for the
Silence.
intro,
Yeah,
I
I haven't a
actually
clue,
watched it. Right before.
Oh yeah. Yeah, intro was made by Michael, the organizer. It was his first time doing an intro since Hilton Quivers 8? Was it 8, I think?
I think it
Which
was
was a
eight,
that's a
long
while,
time
wasn't
ago. Yeah, that was a while ago.
Wasn't a bad
What
intro in my
What
opinion.
did you guys
He's
think of the
done a
intro?
good job on the intro.
It's simple, but it's nice. It serves its
Yeah.
purpose.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
that's the thing.
definitely.
It's like, over time you just sort of realise, you know what, stop trying to make this super swag intro and let's just do what it does, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even
that's
today,
good. I
when
mean,
I
you
still
can read
see-
the names, you can read team names, you can see who is in it. It's good on the beat. It's good all around. I have no complaints about that
Anything
intro.
I don't see is appraisal to me, but oh well. I can look
And
past
they also
that.
have like this big group picture at the beginning that always
Yeah.
seems to be something Desire does. So
Yeah,
It seems Desire
that's their
Desire was
trademark.
like one of the kind of the first rounds to do that like major like group photo, and I've seen ever since then I've seen a couple of rounds do things like that. Like Nuzlocke have done it. I'm pretty sure Evo have done it as well.
I always
bunch of
think
different
of
rounds of-
Desire
Hotels
when I see
did
it
it.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah, me
Same
too.
here.
Desire's the one I think of as well.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely
that's their
nice touch.
trademark, that is.
the only thing that caught my ear there was like the last few seconds seemed a bit laggy. I'm not sure if it was only on my end.
No, the audio kind of
All right.
spurts a little bit near the end for whatever
Alright.
reason.
Yeah.
It might also be the song because I didn't listen to the song in general, but
It doesn't.
that's the only negative thing I
If the song does
actually
that, it's
noticed.
pretty shit.
Yeah.
You don't know how the song continues, so you can't really tell that. So
It's just
Yeah.
a standard problem with editing episodes. There's always someone who makes an intro and puts a fade to black at the end, and I'm like, dude, I just want to fade to my footage. Now I have to go to black first. Audio is the same. It's like always stressful if you're a
Yeah.
perfectionist.
Ever since Longer mentioned that to me, I thought, hey, that was a good idea, and I've been doing it for every intro I've ever made since. I hope. I might have forgotten a couple of times. I wouldn't be surprised if I did.
I haven't paid attention. I haven't been in enough risk and reward seasons where you have done episodes since.
You haven't
Or
been in enough
interesting.
Risk and Reward season. How many have you played?
Every single one of them.
Exactly.
That's not enough.
But that
That's
was the
because
last
he
one.
We
doesn't
want 110%.
That was the last one.
We
They
all
want
need
you
to
to be
play
in
before the
14
next
out
one's
of
organised.
13.
I mean, I think even that is true. I think he even played. No, he didn't, right? Did you play
What
the
did
one we remade, like the season 13 remade one, like the first try, longer?
I didn't do the first try for
Yeah,
that. I
he
think
didn't
you
do
guys
the
got
So
first
you
that
try.
don't
one.
have the 110%. That's why you can't really comment on that, obviously.
Yeah. Welcome
Yeah.
to Risk and Reward Season 4. Risk of, oh shit, Longer's already won. I bet you
But,
even if Longer played the season first on his own, he still wouldn't win. No, offense.
No,
Friend.
Oh.
I wouldn't.
As
Well,
far
no,
as
that's-
It wouldn't be a risky reward. I did win. Let's be fair.
It wouldn't be a recorded round with Longer if
It wouldn't have any
Exactly.
reward, it would just only have a risk.
oh yeah,
Longer's
No.
here for the fun.
So, with Desire 7, what did you guys think? If you watched it, what did you think of the season overall? I'm not sure how many people.
I'm just
watched
going to
it,
say
but-
now, I haven't watched any of these rounds, so.
I
Well,
didn't
you-
watch
fair enough.
any
Well, you
either.
see, Bernie.
I'm sorry.
This is,
this
I'm-
segment might be minimal.
Yeah.
Uh,
I was
watched
a
two,
I was a
only
big
because I played them.
I was a big fan
yeah.
of the I was a big fan of the winning team for Desire 7. That was
yeah,
a
me
cool team
too.
to
The
win.
winning team was pretty much perfect.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it was a pretty okay season. It
It's
wasn't
not. I'm
anything-
not. It's not. I don't mean it in the way of like I would have been mad if this team won, but it was cool to see those. It was cool to see those guys in particular win.
Yeah,
It was
Uh,
2 months ago. I think we can say who won.
It was just a Mactus.
no,
Just
no,
no one else.
He actually
it-
actually went out of his way to leave his team because he thought they were weighing him down.
What was his team? Faluz and Speedo? I
Yeah,
don't remember.
he was.
But yeah, the winning team was Phased MC, American, Apex, Twinkie.
It was,
So
it was a cool.
congrats to them for pulling it
Yeah.
off.
I will say the game. I don't. It was the season was a while ago, so I don't remember watching it all too well. But the game mode seemed kind of tedious in parts.
The game mode didn't really. It was
I
one of
didn't
those.
It's
like
like because
the
it's
game
like it's
mode.
like it's like hey, every 20 minutes you might be in a you might not be able to craft, and that applies to
Oh,
a quarter
yeah,
of
that
the
was
map.
fun, being in the crafting zone for like 50 of the first
For
60
those
minutes of the
unaware-
game. That was so much fun.
The way that the game mode worked was instead of having like a monument, the map was quadrant off into four sections, 4 quarters, and every 20 minutes, each quarter had a different negative effect. So if you were in like pause neg, you couldn't craft diamond stuff, or if you were in like neg, you just couldn't craft stuff. Period. Or if you were in like pause, then like you couldn't do. I forget what it was, but basically each area of the map restricted you from
It
doing a
was-
certain thing.
It was a good game mode in theory, but I feel like no crafting shouldn't have been an option.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no crafting
It sounds
whatsoever
fun.
is a huge hindrance.
It's funny, but after a while, it starts to get really tedious. Like at the start, it's like at the start, it's kind of funny. It's like, oh my god, we can't craft anything. That's funny. And then like after 20 minutes of it, if you're still stuck in the same area, like, oh hang on, this is just starting to get really tedious now. I can't do anything.
Yeah.
Which is the situation for our team, because me, Quill, and Jake got stuck in a no crafting zone about 4 episodes.
Really? Oh, boy.
that sucks.
At least the first 2 episodes were, and then we went back to it another 2 times after that.
Damn. Okay.
So did the zones move around, or was it
Yeah,
fixed
they
at
moved
that
around at
position?
the end of each episode.
I think you just need to get good.
There.
There was
Got
an
fired.
issue with like the with like the plugin at one point, I think, and I had to reset like what was in which zone. We were in a safe zone, and then all of a sudden, after they reset that, after finally being in a safe zone, we got put back in no crafting because they reset it.
Ouch.
Ooh.
And that was in like episode 4. It was like, leave us alone.
You're just getting
It reminds me
targeted.
of when that Minecraft season where BTC was stuck in the Nether for like a whole episode or 2 because the portal broke and he couldn't get back through.
Oh my god.
I'm just getting memories of that now.
That game mode also reminds me a lot of like the WMC season 22 game mode, or how it should have supposed to be working.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That whole thing.
I didn't read
the
up a lot on that.
Brain
I-
quadrants.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the map was basically in like several like districts, and you had to go to a designated district every episode.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you would get any negative effect. But sadly, that didn't work.
Oh well.
That would have been cool, but unfortunately did not work.
The actual
Well,
WMC
I
22
remember-
is like just as entertaining, to be honest.
Yeah.
Don't
But anyway,
mind.
probably shouldn't get off topic though. We probably shouldn't like move
Yeah,
off to like another
yeah.
intro. So was there anything else anyone else wants to say about Desire, or should we move on to the next one?
I don't think I've said all I
Couldn't
want
move
to
on.
say.
Carry on.
Well,
Okay,
in
next
that
up
case-
is cheaper by the dozen. Possibly,
Another round I didn't watch.
possibly the most upset
Blanca,
I've
how many
ever
of these have you
been.
watched?
The longest what?
I have watched all of them except except the exact opposite of that.
Okay. Go on.
Cheaper
Go on, Dom.
cheaper by the dozen, aka possibly the most upset I've ever been during an intro, hearing what the name of the round was. Oh,
Was it that bad?
I'm
Yeah.
not.
Well, the
I'm
intro.
Like I might have it in my perspective, but I remember them going, "Welcome to Cheaper by the Dozen," and a bunch of people actually like groaning intensely. Like, what is this? It was originally meant to be called 112 Elves, a kind of
Such a
in
better
lieu
name.
with 1-9er Miners, but they actually asked Boyce about it, and Boyce didn't want them to use it. So very much on the fly, they had to come up with Cheaper by the Dozen.
So was like the
I mean,
name for
it
the
is a
groups and
much
such,
better name,
112
to be
elves.
fair.
It was the cheaper option. Let's be honest.
By the dozen.
It's just a better name. What the fuck is 112 Elves? It's not even a name. Like, I never would have guessed that. Like, until you mentioned it, I didn't even realise it was a play on 1-9er Miners. Like,
112
it
elves.
just sounded dumb to me. But then it was
Risk
like, oh,
of-
it's a
Risk
reference.
of elves. Yeah, I
Boy.
watched the season. and
I thought you said Elves as in the letter as well.
112 elves.
You all
it
suck. It's
seems
12
like
Elves.
something
There you go.
that kind of seems like something that would happen around this time. Though, to be honest, it wouldn't surprise me.
112 L's.
I watched Cheaper by the Dozen because I think I actually watched your team, Dom. Because
I had fun with my team. Frost and Balone.
Frost, Breath, and Balon.
And also, it was 1.12, and I really like one. And 1.12 is my favorite version of Minecraft.
It was good fun.
So I really liked that. But like the season in general didn't really seem that amazing. Like,
Yeah, it was alright.
I don't really remember anything from it.
I remember that Phil who won, and he got like the last 3 kills of the game as like a solo or something. It was alright.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything that was too that didn't really stand
boy.
out, but it wasn't bad.
I liked the special players that we had. Especially Rocky and Johnny Fairplay.
I don't even know who they are.
Johnny Fairplay is his own. That's his like account.
His own mystical entity.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I guess
I
you
was
could.
genuinely confused when I saw the video and I saw like the post. Now I saw these memes about like Johnny Depp. I'm like, who the fuck is this? I don't. That sounds really rude. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Oh my god, I feel awful now.
I'm pretty
I think
I'm
everybody
pretty
feels
sure.
that.
No,
Say what I'm
I'm pretty
thinking,
sure. I'm pretty sure Johnny Fairplay was like Scribb's IRL friend. So
Oh, okay.
it's kind of in the. It's I wouldn't have. It's like you wouldn't get mad at you if you didn't know who the Mop was or or Jimmy Jambles. Kind of like that. So
Really awful now. Can someone else take the next part of the podcast?
next section. The next section is just insulting Pathfinder.
Oh,
Oh,
lovely.
I'm
I
gonna
can
do
do that
this.
bit. My favourite part of the.
I can
All
do
right.
that.
All right. Who's
The whole
going
topic.
first?
Okay, so Burning hasn't rejoined, so it's shit. Okay, no, okay, no, we shouldn't continue about this. Okay, we could talk about. Should we move on or should we talk about?
I think so. Yeah.
Because we could have gone on like about 1.12 in general, but maybe we should save that for another podcast. Maybe.
Actually, hold on.
I
Okay.
mean, I played a 1.12. Like I played 1.12 Minecraft for the very first time last night in a UHC game. Actually,
Yeah.
it was pretty woke. That's all I've got to say. It was mad.
I was listening.
I
to you
mean,
the whole
what wasn't
time.
mad was the fact that I forgot. No, shields exist in the game now because like I played like few bits of 1.9, and then after that, that was when I just sort of like kind of stopped playing Minecraft. Actually, I played 1.10 like once. So
Yeah.
playing a UHC with 1.12 was like a weird experience for me because it's like, you know, I don't know what all this shit is. And people's telling me about some mansion boss, mini bosses, and I'm there like, I was waved. I didn't know what he was on about.
Was it?
What else was there? There was something else. There's like, I press E, and you know, there's a green ugly book in there. Helps you up everything.
Green ugly
I didn't use
book.
it once because I didn't know how to work it. But you know, it's a learning experience.
Okay, one thing I will
dropped,
say.
like what 7 hearts to a skeleton because I forgot to hold right click on my shield.
What did you want
Yeah.
to say, Don?
I just wanted to ask a question. Anything you want to say about the last two subjects? iPad fan? Is if he's even here?
I think
What?
he's
Sorry, I
playing
have my
FIFA.
name.
He stuck his face in his balls again.
I'm playing FIFA. What did you say?
You're playing
Do you
FIFA
want
during
to-
your
do
fucking
you want to say anything
podcast.
about the last
Anything
two
you want to say? Anything you want to say
what
about
were the last two?
Desire or Cheaper by the Dozen?
Cheaper by the dozen. I just didn't understand what the point was. It's like 1.12 is nothing new at this point. I know not many like groups do it, but
I
it was still a
kind of was the
pointless
same.
thing.
When I first saw it, I thought, oh, that's cool
Like-
to see 1.12, but then after that I was like, wait, what's the point of this?
Like the group was cool. Like you know, I liked the roster, but it just made no sense as a one-time round. Like it
just
was
kinda seemed
achieving
like
nothing
it just
new.
kind
It
of seemed like a
seemed
bunch
really
of
out
people who
of
wanted
place.
to try 1.12 and they just thought, hey, we'll record this.
And I think the name
again,
sums up how
I guess
disorganized and pointless the whole thing was.
I guess Welcome to Hell is kind of similar because that was very spontaneous as well.
I
One
was,
night
that
in
was
a
like,
mine
cool
was the same
because it
thing.
was spontaneous. That was half the point of it.
But yeah,
As for Desire 7, I did not have time to watch it, so I haven't actually seen the season. But I think who was the guy, the guy who no one knew who got to play? He was
I
cool.
love how we
I
have
watched- I
Desire
watched a bit of
7 in the
him.
roundup just to talk about Amactus.
Oh, Amactus, yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
You may as well just have
Yeah, he was
changed it
cool.
to Amactus and not Desire.
Welcome
Anyway,
to
yeah,
the
carry on with
Amactus
your thing.
podcast.
Thank you for considering me.
No
It's all
problem.
Welcome. Every now and again, I might
so-
say your name again. So listen out. Stop playing FIFA.
just,
I'll listen in on anything I don't like. Is not paying attention. When
you'll
his
just
name
hear
is called.
you'll just shout goal out of nowhere.
Oh yeah.
He's
Well,
goal
I-
camping.
Well, anyway,
We'll be
I think we
waiting
should
for
move
that.
on. Let's move on to TT season 15. Avenge to the end.
Ooh,
Right,
we
I
got,
got
we got
a
a
second
couple
to look up that
players of
intro.
it in this channel. 3 of them.
Oh man, I actually wanted to play that season. I was so bummed that I couldn't. I had to work sadly.
Oh, I had a
That
lovely
happens to
time in
most of the
TC15.
PE seasons.
Yeah, it's a tough time scheduling some games.
Yeah,
TC15 was a pretty good was a pretty good season. I didn't like watch all of it because I died very early in my perspective, but
I think
I-
other people had a great season.
Yeah, it was very entertaining
your
from a viewer's
perspective was
perspective.
fun. For those who don't know, Longer, do you want to explain what happened in your perspective?
Well, let's just say that I failed in a whole new way. at some point I was like, okay, my entire team has self-destructed, right? Tim dies, and who else was there? I already forgot everyone that was
Casey
there.
and Kanako.
Oh yeah, Katie and Kanako. Everybody was dead, and I was left over. And you have this entire thing of, hey, okay, we need to rush to the end, and there are these really good teams out there. And I was like, dude, I am never going to make it there. I was even stuck trying to find diamonds and just getting my my episode 2 stuff, you know, and that was in episode 6. So I was just not getting anything done. So I was like, you know what? I got a name tag. And I've got Katie. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to die to Katie. I'm going to have a creeper blow me up and leave a riddle so that people can get my 1 golden apple that I have or whatever. I was like, hey, that's a gift for you guys who come all the way over here. And then I managed to forget to take off my armor and I didn't die. So, yeah. and 5 minutes later, the round ended. So that's
You
my
see, that
experience.
explosion is what should have happened.
When you accidentally succeed trying to make a plan to fail.
Yeah, exactly.
So basically, in short,
That's the longer way, that is.
Longer tried to commit suicide and failed.
Yeah.
That's honestly the most longer thing I've probably heard from like recording.
And then-
The season in general.
Tries to die, but ends up killing someone. Oh,
In my defense, I was really rushed because I saw that dragon getting killed, that I heard people being there and fighting. That was like, shit, I can't die before everybody is in there or the dragons die. So I was like, I have to rush, and it just to me.
That's fair.
The season in general is pretty cool. I like how every 5 seasons they do a throwback to the dragon, because it's literally the name.
Yeah,
to
a
the
lot
end
of
of
the,
it.
a lot of
It's
the
really cool.
fights in it, especially, were fairly entertaining from a viewer's perspective. The end was cool, but I do wish that it had taken them like 5 or 10 minutes more to kill the dragon, because one team, red team, was like 30 seconds away from entering
They
the
were
portal.
really, but they were really slow though. Like even after the portal was open, they still spent time like brewing potions and such. I was watching their perspective, so like
Yeah,
it was their own fault for not going straight there.
It totally was. I just remember seeing Coolest and Sugar like right next to the portal, waiting
Yeah, and then
for.
the others told them not to go in. I think because I was watching Michael's perspective of that.
Yeah, if they had gone in, I think that could have been a potential game changer.
Yeah,
But it was a
yeah,
good
it
season
could have been
nonetheless.
much longer could have won maybe.
Maybe.
Longer,
If I
longer
had
could have done
actually
what I
bothered
did in
to go
season
there.
10.
oh yeah, season 10, man. That is the earliest I've died in any UHC ever.
Oh yeah, but it's
Oh,
also
really?
one of the best recorded round teams
Yeah.
we've ever had.
I mean, it's a shame that your perspective didn't pick up all the shit me
I
and
know.
Sipians and
I
Tommy
was
were
so
saying
sad.
on
I fixed
TeamSpeak.
that
'cause
now. Can we do it again?
yeah, I mean, you could
Can we
have,
go
like,
back?
asked me back for season 15, not to play, but just to chat shit the TeamSpeak with you. Or
Yeah,
something.
just the chat to me. That's all that matters.
But yeah,
Commentary is half the
Season
I
10
think
was
the-
good, but disappointing play-wise for me. But
I think like the winners were like Sedgos, Speed, Incipiens,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Hammer, I think.
Hammer fan,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I just watched the S15 intro right now. I love the good throwback to S10 as well.
Oh, it was a very good intro.
Yeah,
also,
it
I
was-
think somebody pointed
it reminds
out
me of
that
S12.
uh,
Oh no.
Just point out-
Incipiens has been on
yeah.
the winning team, or the last team standing of every TTE Dragon Rush. So, shout out to Incipiens.
Can I also point out mine and Leon's renders in the intro? Because I think that's like some of the best part of the whole intro. For those who don't know what happened, if you guys look at the intro for TT15, you look at my team, you look at the renders of me and Leon. The reason I look so angry at him isn't by coincidence. If you don't know what happened to me, so our team was in the Nether. I had just gotten my first blood in a recording round. I was so happy. I was on such a high. I was just running through a Nether fortress, and then all of a sudden, Leon comes from the side of me and is just throwing his fishing rod around like with no care in the world. And then he uses the fishing rod accidentally, at perfect timing, to knock me back outside of the Nether fortress into a massive pool of lava, causing me to die.
I love them.
I love that.
It was you'd think people would be mad. I was genuinely laughing for a good 5 minutes after that happened. Because I was
Yeah.
I remember thinking while playing that you really lost it at that point. I was like,
I
okay.
did. I lost it completely. I was just done. Yeah, the
Okay,
renders-
remind me to never team with him.
That
Then.
was
Yeah, Frost did a
the
really good job
first
on the intro
time-
though.
That was the first time
Yeah.
since.
Cut out.
Frost has
Hello,
definitely well
sorry,
improved
I
on his-
realised I had the thingy going again on the floor. Okay, so
Oh my god.
that was
Pick it up.
definitely that was the first like moment that I've actually genuinely laughed out loud from since the
I loved it.
since the QFV2 thing where like the full team
Oh,
of
that
4
was-
exploded
that was
on the
brilliant.
end, Chris.
I remember watching that.
That was brilliant. Yeah, that's my little segment. Carry on, boys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have no
yeah,
stories.
yeah,
I have
team.
no stories to say about my perspective. My team just sucked. We just died.
Who was your team?
I
again?
think you just need to get good.
I was
Who
with
you were with?
Ryron, FaZe, and Hecticity.
Oh yeah,
Which
sorry
is-
We're
about
losing.
that.
That's an OP team.
Lewis was like your one carry, and then Joe killed him in episode 3 or whatever.
Whoops.
Then we died to
So
Tommy's team in a PvP encounter. It was a
Right.
GG.
Then-
FaZe MC was known by Sid Garcia.
Was it a
Oh,
GG
yeah.
or was it a BG? Be honest.
Hello, God. Oh, lovely. This recorded round is next up.
WMC 23.
Oh boy.
The Sonic Joey.
The memes are over. You can no longer meme about it.
Memes are done.
WC23.
Dead.
Breaking
I think it was-
breaking news.
personally,
Memes
though.
are over.
Yeah.
Delete all
Big
memes
In
from the
all
internet.
serious though, in all seriousness though, thoughts on the season 23? Like, anyone?
I think it was a good season.
I have
think
no
it-
clue what happened during the season.
Yeah.
I was asked by Ferry if I wanted to play, but I didn't want to when the time came around, unfortunately. So
I think
You know
it
what
had one
happened
of
in the first like
best-
10 minutes, don't you? Longer?
Yeah, I know what happened. It's alright.
A little while.
It's like
The,
it was so perfect. I mean, you can't script that shit. I have no clue what I could have done differently that you would not do unless you are super paranoid about the terrain.
Yeah.
oh god, what happened?
You could not have panicked and walked into the wall behind you.
Yeah, that could have changed.
The best PvE team of Longer and Frost being team number 13.
Oh, yeah,
Unlucky
okay, I actually
13
saw
in
those
the intro,
perspectives.
and they both die
Yeah.
first in episode 1.
Again, longer and recorded rounds. It's always brilliant.
It's always brilliant.
Like, I'm saying this to everyone now. If Longer's in a recorded round, watch him first. He'll probably die in the next 10 minutes.
It's shamefully true as of late. I remember that during the
How
beginning
many times
days
have
of
you
Risk
been
and
the
Reward.
first death?
Yeah,
Like,
during the
ever.
beginning days of Risk and Reward, I always lasted till the end. I would die during the bow battles, but I'd always last and never take PvE damage. Now it's the utter opposite.
It's the other way around. Everyone's evolved.
Yep.
As we've come to
The
know
left
and love.
just adapted around you.
The intro for WMC 23 was Silver Teeth's first intro. What did people think about that?
Like,
It was good.
I think it was
Like-
good. It felt a little bit lacking in terms of the scrolling background to me, but it was good as a whole.
It was decent, but in my opinion, not up to the other WMC
No.
intros.
I agree.
That
I
it
feel
was
Like
hard to
Desire
compare to
7
the
and
others
Cheap
as a
by a
first-timer.
Dozen, I'd say it's basic, but it gets the job done. So, not really a lot to
I feel
complain
like it
about.
was good for his first ever intro. Like, I
Oh
think
yeah,
it was like,
good.
like
Yeah.
his first intro was
Like,
good.
you got all the basics
No-
down fine without any problems. So,
It's
There
not
you
as
go.
amazing
No
as
issues
like
there.
like other people's like intros, if you know what I mean. Like, but like it's nothing like. It's amazing, best thing we've ever seen
Yeah.
in my life. But like, it's
I
for his
mean-
first intro, he did a very good job.
yeah, we've all got to
Yeah.
start somewhere. Like, my first intro was RNR Season 1, and look at what that one was. Shiny, colourful background. Like, I don't know, I had like a puff of smoke in the back waving about, here's this guy, here's this bloke, here's another one. Look at this chap here. There's an name. Boom, on to the next one.
But that
That's
was
all
a
it was.
classic.
And it was the exact same for Season 2 as well. I just changed the colour to fucking blue.
Was
And I
season
know-
3 the one where you didn't get the timing right, so I made my own intro?
No, that was Season 4. Season 3 was the one people, for some
Oh yeah,
reason,
season 3
decided...
was
Yeah.
a really good one.
Okay, so when AJ Steelwright made that top 100 intros, he did ask me permission for it. I said he could do it. So it was my first time watching it as a viewer, and I was like, why did people put like fucking RNR3 above what was it? Like, I can't remember what it was, but some people, and then people also put RNR8 above RNR12 as well. I think it was, and I'm just there like, what the fuck you doing? What you doing? Good to see RNR7 still up there though. The one intro I didn't make was the fucking best one.
Yeah.
Why do you have to best me?
I mean, it's mainly probably due to due to nostalgia, why people still put it or did put it
Yeah.
Yeah.
up there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nostalgia's a big thing.
That's why I made the
especially
RNR
for-
12 intro what it was, because it's like, people like that one. So I was like, okay, I'm going to copy that one.
I'm gonna copy it.
Yeah, I
But-
copied it. I just, fidgeted some bits around, innit?
What do you guys think of the? I feel like I'm talking too much. I feel like I'm taking the lead a little too much. I'm sorry.
Well, it's fine.
fine, I'll talk about-
I'll take the lead.
iPad
What
fan
did you
can't
guys
talk us through
think
this
of-
one.
Oh, and I'll sit. No, okay.
Go on, Bernie. I believe in you.
Good job,
Right, to
Burning.
Burning Tea.
Well, since we mentioned the top 100, one thing that I created during the gap between podcasts is I tallied up points for where people's intros appeared in all 3 of the top 100s.
Yeah. I was like third or something,
and
second or
Burning
something.
came second.
Yeah, I was
Nice.
woke in intros, man. I was woke in my prime.
Yeah, you racked up a lot of points from 1 and 2, not so much from 3.
From 1 and 2. What?
Yeah, from the first and second top 100.
Oh, right. Oh, I thought you meant just that one. Oh, yeah, okay. Right.
No.
I
Yeah,
I
you
thought
racked
you
up a
meant
lot
he
of
racked up points from
season
R&R
one intro.
1 and 2, and I was
Yeah,
like,
I
really?
thought I was like,
He was like,
it was oh no, I wanted to that good of an intro. Fuck yeah, let's
they were
go.
better than 3.
Basic pictures at the top. My favourite intro I've probably made though. Actually, I don't know what it is.
Alright.
It was. I need to figure this out. I want to say it was either 12, 10. Oh, 9 was fun, but it's not. It was like the one I had. It was the one I had the most fun, but it's not my personal
yeah.
best. I'd say either 12 or 5 for me.
There's
Mine
also
is
a
up
big-
above had me laughing so hard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What was it? I can't remember who it was. I think Seth
That's
jokingly
the Epic
mentioned
Sax
something
guy,
about the
bro.
Epic Sax guy in the Skype chat
Yeah.
once. I just thought, oh shit, Eurovision Song Contest. Eurovision's in Australia. Europeans in Australia. This was before Australia was put in Eurovision for whatever fucking reason, but
You're the prophet, dude.
I knew Australia
Oh,
was
hail the
coming.
prophet.
Should we keep WMC? Like, what do you guys think of the this?
Welcome to the Alright podcast, where we never talk about what we're meant to be talking about.
Yeah, like
Talk about
that's
us.
the
We
only-
don't know about
That's the
these
only reason
rounds.
I keep talking so much is because like I know people like don't like it when things go off topic. So I keep trying to push things back on topic.
I think that
That's fair.
I
WC23
think
had.
explaining your process in the podcast is also not something people want to listen to.
I think WMC23 had one of the best WMC rosters in a while. Like, that was the one where I looked at the players and I was like, they got a lot of people together for this one. And I was pretty excited to see how it would go out. And it was fairly entertaining, like, as far as the season go. WMC has been pretty good recently. With
Yeah,
22
Was
and
that
23.
supposed to be about WMC 23?
Yes.
You guys are worse than me.
But for WMC 23, that was a season where I teamed with Breaks a lot.
Yeah.
And I love that guy. He's actually really great. And just the teams in general are really balanced as well, in my opinion. Like, for example, in the beginning, I didn't expect to buy Texel and Holly
Oh, yeah, they did really well.
to do this well. And then they saw me and completely four-shot me, like 4 shots in a row, and I was dead.
Oh, yeah, didn't you die with Skeleton while fighting them?
Oh, yeah, well, but
It's very
Yeah,
it's
that-
very
that takes,
WMC. It's very WMC to say that Bitexel and Holly Matman snowballed, and the season was won by Kurtit and Flusemaker.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's nowhere else where that could happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one thing I do like about WMC, it's their roster mix.
Oh yeah.
Mhm. It's a nice group of people over the years.
Yeah. There's no one who's like stupidly overpowered. The ones that are usually like on the top will all sort of like counter each other in a way.
Yeah.
Like they
Yeah.
usually saw each other out, so there's only like one left, but he's been damaged a bit anyway, or has a very,
Shut
very
the
shit
frick.
teammate.
Brick's a bit OP.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. Next WMC season, it's team of 2. Put Brick with longer and see how long he lasts.
Ooh, Brick or me?
I mean, if you remember to take your armor off this time, it won't be you.
Maybe.
Armor
Who
on.
knows? As long as I put my boots on, right?
Yeah. Yeah, put your boots on, boy.
For the people who are not aware, this is an in-joke. At some point, the in-joke will become public knowledge, but right now it's an in-joke.
Wink, wink.
Me and
Yeah.
Longer did a thing.
Yeah,
Hey.
a very special thing.
Yeah,
Involves
Um,
socks.
I love socks.
Any other comments about WMC23 before we dive into the next one?
Ferry, if you're listening to this, how the fuck did you do those numbers? I tried figuring out what they meant, but I couldn't in the end, so I gave up.
It was, if I remember correctly from what it said in the post, it was they basically just turned the letters into numbers and then added all the numbers together.
That's what it looked like to me, but I couldn't figure out what.
It kind of makes sense when you think about it, because like if it was like the highest number with the lowest, then like it makes sense that Ripper Steve M5 would be with Mop 19.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it looked like, judging by the length of the strings, but it was just what letter meant what number or whatever.
Was it just like A would be 1 and B would be 2 or something?
I think
that's what I thought, but it's like it didn't seem out that way. I don't know. I'm trying to remember off by memory at the moment. So, but it didn't look that way at all. It was way too obvious.
I would be interested for a more in-depth explanation to how he did that, because it does seem like a neat process.
Yeah. So yeah, Ferry, if you listen to that, please. Or I could just fucking ask him, but you know.
I think I've seen him list all the numbers for every name at one point, but I have no clue where that is at this point.
He put them all in brackets next to the sign-up post.
There we go.
So next, we're finally getting into recorded round. Actually, no, not yet. The next recorded. Actually, yeah, Nuzlocke 7.
Okay,
many months in the
Lemboy did
making.
a really fucking great job on that trailer. I loved that trailer. It was a good trailer. I liked that trailer. Well done, Lemboy.
Yeah.
I thought the intro was very underrated. I think a lot of people said some bad things about it, and I was very surprised. I thought it was brilliant.
It's
one of the that was more so it.
Yeah, it's one of the worst, in my opinion, one of the worst Nuzlocke intros, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad.
It's nothing. Let's like.
Because
it's
Nuzlocke
not
has good intros.
It's not a bad intro in general.
In
it's
that sense, I wouldn't use the word worst. I'd say one of the least favorite.
Yeah, least
it's
favorite.
It's not my favorite Nuzlocke intro, but like it was very good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
that's kind of what you should say.
Why exactly? Because I liked it a lot, actually.
No, I don't know. That's just what other people were saying.
Like,
I mean, it had better effects than most intros for something that's like sort of like basic layout, like face name and then onto the next one, face name, etc. It still had much better visual effects than most other rounds. So.
I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just kind of felt like an early work of the intro. Like I feel like if he was I know it's a recorded round, so this is unrealistic and it shouldn't have been expected, especially considering how long the season took to get released already. But I feel like if he had been given like another little bit to work on it, he could have made it a fair bit better. Because CAC has made very good intros. Like I think it maybe because I know that he has made a lot better content, that there was a lot of potential in that, but it wasn't bad. I enjoyed it. It just wasn't anything great.
Yeah.
So that's my 2 cents.
The game mode was pretty cool. I like the game mode.
It's a lot easier to grasp than the Gale of Darkness one.
I think he made a point of that after season 6.
That was the one I was invited to be as a guest for that one season only. I mean, when I heard about it, I was like fucking confused. But turns out I can't play this anyway because I am away that weekend. Sorry.
R.I.P.
Once again.
Fortunate.
But yeah, it was very. Because I don't play the Pokemon games. So as someone who doesn't play the Pokemon games, I didn't understand what the fuck he was on.
Yeah. I watched the season, but
if it was a Yu-Gi-Oh thing,
it's kind of hard to. Because I couldn't understand anything that was going on. Like if the game mode can't be explained to somebody who doesn't know Pokemon, then not a very good game mode in my opinion.
Yeah.
Doesn't everyone who plays the season know Pokemon by heart though?
Yeah,
I don't.
I was asked, as I just said, I was asked to be a guest. I didn't know fucking shit.
I think CAC said the only members, or ex-members, I guess, who have never played Pokemon before were Engal, Dragon Passa, and Flusemaker. They're the only people who have never played Pokemon that have played.
I was about to say, I think I remember seeing something like I think I did watch Fluz in his first season. He was like, "Yeah, I don't really play Pokemon, so I don't really know what's going on here."
Yeah, I have played it. It's just I don't know a lot about it. So, like, if you told me to list the first gen in order, I'd probably get like the 3 starters and their evolutions, and that's it. Can't remember who comes up.
I don't even think I could say the stars.
What is a Pokemon?
The stars?
Starters.
Oh yeah.
I could say the starters in German because they have different names, but.
What was the German one for Greninja? That one was funny.
For who?
Greninja.
Can you write it down?
Well, the English one or the German one?
Yeah,
The
give him a
English
picture
one.
of the Pokemon in question.
As I said, I don't know the English names, so...
Yeah, I don't know, because it's like, because I play Smash now, it's like some of the Pokemon names get translated into their like different
Oh yeah.
counterparts. So it's like
Right,
in
one
like
second.
in France, Greninja's called Geku. What was it? No, it wasn't Geku.
I was-
That's the
I
Japanese
was hoping
one.
it would just be
it's,
Gek.
that Pokemon. It's called Quajutsu.
It was Amphibinobi. That was it. And
Koyutsu.
Jigglypuff in
Ooh.
French
Quajutsu.
is Roundup as well, and it's funny. Roundup. Rondudu. Rondudu.
I'm officially
I
naming
guess
this episode.
Quack
I'm
was the
officially
aqua
naming.
water thing.
I'm officially naming this
YouTube
episode of the
profile.
podcast as r/ultrahardcore recorded around podcast special. Know your Pokemon.
No.
Who's that Pokemon? It's
What
iPad
kind
fan.
of Pokemon are you?
Let's do the Poke Rap.
No.
Squirtle and
I-
Jigglypuff. That's all I know.
iPad fan uses paragraph. It's super effective.
Anything else to talk about?
What did you say?
The game mode was really
Bad
good.
fan
It was
flees from the
actually
battle
very,
via iPad.
it was very easy to grasp and quite enjoyable, to be honest. I did
I really
enjoy
like the
watching
game
that
mode.
season. I
Well-
liked how when somebody died, somebody else could take their type. It's not like it was set in stone. Like
And
I
I
think
like-
there
I
were like
like how-
three
I like
different
when
people.
you-
with
I was actually
fairy
glad
type.
that
I
was
like
put
how
in.
when you killed the person, it seemed you had priority, didn't you, for like 60 seconds?
Yeah, you could just like instantly change into theirs if you had the thing done already.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like that.
Yeah, I'm glad
Kinda-
that was
kinda
because
like
just
Assassins
having
in a
one
way.
taken and then being stuck to it when one you probably didn't want it, or secondly someone else wants it. I thought it was really cool because you can interchange accordingly depending on your situation as well.
Yeah, good season. Check it out if you're interested.
We can't really talk about these next 3 recorded rounds much because they're not finished yet. But
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
this will
true,
be
but-
shorter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't.
I have
First-
something to complain about.
First
In
of
the
all,
next intro.
Compass Rose 2.
Kowalski played that. We can. have
Yeah, I
Kowalski
played
talk
Yeah,
that.
about
Kowalski's
And
in it.
At Project McCabe, you didn't use my correct skin.
Ooh. Get called out.
The shout out
Like I called
destroyed.
I called him out for that once, and then he said, "Yeah, I can do it."
Project
Like,
McCabe
for
is the
whole
number
random
one
thing.
fan of this series.
And then he
mate.
just put like an eye patch on my eye. But that isn't my whole skin. I put a lot of work and effort into my skin. Come
You're
on.
offending the number one fan of the podcast, officially deemed my bad fan.
Officially chosen.
Can you imagine he fixes it now and asks everyone in Compass Rose to change their entire season 2 episodes to cut out the intro and put this one in. Kowalski ain't got his eye patch no more.
Oh well. But yeah.
Kowalski, was this your response to not feeling pirate enough because Burning and I are here, and you were like, you know what? If I join Compass Rose
Yeah.
for the next
You better
podcast,
mind a lot of coal.
then there's going to be 3 pirates here. It's your fault.
It is actually funny because
Arn,
after the
arn.
season was done, Tommy was like, "Dang it, how could we forget for the one pirate season to invite Longa and Burning, like the most pirate memorized UHCers here." I
That
don't
was
know why they
exactly what
didn't
I was
think of
thinking
you.
when I
I'm
saw
not part
the
of the
post.
organization. They just said it afterwards.
Oh, it's a shame. Missed opportunities, I guess.
The biggest mistake of our lives.
Arr.
Arr.
Our ship needs to set sail one day again, matey.
Yeah, but let's not make it about us. Let's make it about them, about those crackly pirates.
Arr. Yeah.
Arr.
Yeah,
Compass
season-
Rose, it now centers around us. The running theme is Burning and Longer.
season hasn't been fully released yet, so there's not really much we can say.
Yeah.
Considering
I
it's
did,
had
um,
3
It's
episodes.
I made it.
season.
I
What?
made it. I made a comment. I made a comment on one of the posts because there's a lot of game modes. There's a
Too much.
It's custom island terrain, mumble, no name tags, compass pointing at loot chests, no enchanted books, sometimes fake ores, a gold monument at 0-0, and it's also kings, which is so much stuff.
I'm
It
just happy
seems
that
to
I
be
was on a
working.
team with the 2 organizers, so as I
So you got
didn't
carried.
have complete, so I didn't have like a complete clue even after the intro, like what. all
It
the
does sound
game
like
was.
something someone with 1400 elo on Badline would host.
But all I
don't
can
know what
say
this
is the season was definitely worth a watch.
Uh-huh.
So
Been pretty good so far. It's been entertaining enough to withhold my interest. So,
and even though some people complained about the intro, I actually liked it. It was simple,
Yeah,
but
it
still
was good.
well made.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
the
like
was
that.
a
intro
bit
isn't really
close.
of like any sort of horrible quality or anything
I think that's Quill's third intro. He did Pathfinder 2 and then New Dawn 11B. I think those are his only intros.
Yes, that makes sense.
Did pretty well for his third intro.
Yeah.
That's good.
Anything else?
I think that's it.
I think it looked good. It was nice that so many people had those eye patches on. I mean, it's a nice touch to do that with your skins. I mean, shows that the people really were hyped for the season, right? If they go to the effort of adjusting the skins for it.
Yeah, we were asked to do it.
It wasn't effort, it was just mandatory.
I mean, being asked and actually doing it, I mean, there are a lot of lazy
out of the
people.
round otherwise.
Now that's the pirate life for you.
Fair enough.
I just remembered that I came home from work and I was already like 5 minutes late, and I came on the server and Tommy was like, Kowalski, please make a skin.
That sounds like Tommy last minute.
So I made the skin.
Yeah, that's definitely a Tommy last
wasn't
minute
properly
thing.
used. Come on.
Okay.
What's next?
Next
Phobia
up
11.
is Phobia Season 11, also a recorded round that has only had at this point 2 episodes. But we can discuss the interesting game mode that they chose, because Phobia always delivers on that front.
How do you
in
feel
the
about those
intro.
Guardians, Kazmek?
They hurt a lot. I will.
Yeah.
Guardians best of mobs.
Yeah, the game mode was actually a lot of fun to play. That was such a fun game mode.
It looks really interesting. I thought it was gonna be bad at first because I was like, "Oh god, that sounds like hell." But it's been really fun to watch.
Yeah,
I can say it was a lot of fun to play simply because I didn't die in episode 1 for a change. So, I mean, no comment about episode 2 or episode 3. When is this airing, anyways? But yeah, I survived episode 1. Spoiler.
Oh shit!
There you have it.
Ooh.
People,
I just a little when I see longer come up with a recorded round and it says episode 2 in the title.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They weren't ready for this one. It was the
I'll
people.
show them. Public.
There was a lot of criticism on the intro.
Yeah, I
one
want
of
to
the
mention
people
that.
to criticize the intro at all.
I did like. I
like
liked
it was
it.
done in like 2 days.
Yeah,
I
it
didn't
was.
say, like, yeah. That's the thing. Apparently, it was done in like 2 days, and I thought that's really good for being done in 2 days.
Yeah, Crimson was originally going to be doing the intro. He had to learn a lot of new techniques with new software to make
That's
what
what
he
I
had
was
in mind. He had to do what he had in mind, and he couldn't do it. So he passed the intro over to Brick. And Brick was also also just didn't have time to make it. So very last minute, they went, "All right, Flues, we're gonna need something from you." And for a last minute job, I think Flues definitely delivered. Because it is.
Blues is an
It looks
amazing man.
polished.
In terms of
but
in terms of production, it looks really good for like a 2-day intro.
But practically, it is a little bit of a problem.
My only issue with it is that, as I said, it didn't really like fit Phobia. People like people always say it's like the calm before the storm, which I thought was was cool. But at the same time, like when I see a Phobia intro, I expect to have some kind of like not anxiety, but like, you know what I mean?
A spooky, scary.
Yeah, something to
anxiety
give you the
actually
atmosphere of it.
Yeah.
describes it pretty well.
Of it going to be at the very least difficult.
Yeah, but I thought it was a really good intro though. Like I did like it. I think Flu was a bit too hard on himself for it because I did like it.
I did like
It's good.
it.
I mean, I don't know if people noticed, but just the names, they flashed on the beat of the song.
Oh
yeah. That was really good.
That was a really
especially 'cause
tiny
it's such
thing
a
I only
fast song.
noticed after so many times, but even that was done. So he paid attention to the detail. It's just
He
that
did, yeah.
the only thing that I had a complaint about, and I'm not saying complaint because it's a really good intro, but if he had had more time to work on it, you would have noticed that the black text behind the characters, they are so hard to read. There is so much going on in a couple of seconds that every team shows. You have trouble reading the team names.
I think the problem there is rather that not the team names, the player names like blink out like twice each time. So so you're completely concentrated on like the blinking from the player names. That your mind doesn't really grasp the team name, and then that's why it feels such short time to read the team name.
It's not just that. It is the fact that the background and the letters themselves both have a bluish tint, right? And the fact that the character models overlap the text. So there is a lot going to push the team name to the back of your awareness.
Yep.
But
But
still
on the
very
other
good
hand, I
intro.
never saw the problem with actually stopping stopping in the middle of an intro to just read more of the team.
Yeah, a lot of
If it
times when
actually goes with the flow, it's
a lot of
fine
times
for
when
me.
intros come out, intros come out, I tend to like pause intros to look at teams because
Yeah.
just to
I
fully
paused them
take
too,
them in.
but I feel there is a difference between having the name and just taking a moment to look at the scene and to pausing it, because otherwise you don't even notice there is a name in the background. I mean,
Yeah.
That's fair.
But yeah, I don't know if we can judge too much because we haven't seen a lot from it. But people that played the season, some of those in this very own channel, say it was very good. So
yeah,
I'm
it
excited.
was
Banana
very
salesman.
entertaining to play. I mean, for me, it is like some sort of team for me. I was going to talk about it maybe later, but for some reason, all the recorded rounds I'm in, somehow I end up teaming with Tommy as of late. It's like, hey, here, random teams. Hey, Longer, you go with Tommy, and I'm like, shit, again. I mean, I love Tommy. He's a great guy, but holy crap.
Or is he dragging you down this time? Does it sort of take turns or what?
I don't know.
I let you down in this round, you let me down in this one.
Yeah, something like that. But
Also,
yeah, I had a lot of fun with Tommy.
Yeah.
Also, one more thing for the intro being too quick to read. I actually like a quick and smooth intro better, since it's just an intro, it's just like an introduction, a quick introduction to the whole season or to the episode. When I compare it, because that's what I forgot to say for Sheeper by a Dozen. When I compare it, for example, to Sheeper by a Dozen, it's also really polished and really nice and really smooth. But since the beat is rather slow, and the intro is only like 50 or 55 seconds long, it feels so slow because on every beat or every second beat, like one player gets introduced, then another player, and then the team all together. So I would rather have it like Phobia did it or Flus did it, where you have to stop in the intro, than having like a dragged out intro, which I'm going to skip anyways because it feels too long.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't feel it was a matter of the intro being too fast, just the combination of intro being fast combined with the composition of the different. That was the problem.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things one can debate on that, and I know I am a very good person at complaining about this, complaining about that, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just gonna say, Flus, great job for what you did in those 2 days. There is nothing to complain about, knowing how much time you had to work with.
I agree.
Indeed.
Most certainly.
Love you,
so
Boob
there's-
Shaker.
There's one more recorded round on our roundup.
One more.
Which is going to be even harder to talk about because there is only one episode out as of right
Oh.
now.
The next
Which is-
episode is coming out in 15
I don't know
minutes.
much about this
Alright.
myself, so this
Neither.
is
Cataclysm 10. Yeah,
I'm leaving
good.
this to
Yeah,
you
good
guys.
round. Okay, let's move on.
I'm leaving this to you guys because I know next to nothing. about
I
it. just
watched a
saw
couple
it.
Guys, would you
perspectives for
rather save
episode
this
1.
for like the next episode when there's something of
Yeah, I
mean, that's a
good
interest
idea,
to talk
Next
about?
episode, 2 months. We'll get it done.
Because
Yeah,
like,
2 months.
I just want to say though, considering like Cataclysm is a very PvP based round, talking about it when literally only the episode where there's no PvP has been
Yeah, that's very
released is
true.
probably
Yeah.
not a fair,
Alright.
You know what? You get
judgment of the
you
round.
get
Well,
off the
in
hook
that
this time,
case-
Kata.
In that case, we just finished talking about Phobia 11, which had some cool custom terrain. Speaking of custom terrain,
Is
we
this
can
a
move on
link?
to our next topic, which is
Shit, it's a link.
And
use
minus
of custom
calculate.
terrain for recorded rounds.
Is that a thing? Oh, yeah.
There's been a lot of it as of late, in my opinion, but
Do you not read the memo?
Kind of missed that one, I guess.
Actually, to be honest, out of the 6 or so rounds we just talked, or 7 or so rounds we just talked about, 4 of them used custom terrain.
Oh yeah,
guess-
TTE used custom terrain, WMC used custom terrain, Compass Rose used compass terrain, and Phobia used custom terrain.
compass terrain. Yeah, I actually think the custom terrain is a really good idea to make to keep the game fresh. Because if you have
Definitely.
like the standard of having like the standard biomes with either plains or desert 0-0, I don't know, that's what you have in every game. That doesn't make the recorded round, which should be played like once every 2 or 3 months,
Yeah.
special at all.
Yeah, I quite enjoy custom terrain. I think it adds a lot of flair to any season, especially when it's very custom to something that you haven't seen before. But I do think at this point, custom terrain has been used so much that if custom terrain is really your main course, kind of, it's not really going to be that special, but it's always a
not
nice
going
little
to carry it
flavor.
around. The people carry it around, but the custom terrain gives it spice.
Yeah, I agree.
Like,
So,
do
thumbs
you
up for
guys
me.
remember the recorded round TBA? Like,
Oh, yeah.
Like they used, for example, for every season, Biomes of Plenty, like the mod for each season, and that was I played both of the seasons, and that was so much fun to play because you were, as someone who never really plays SMP or Minecraft in general outside of UHC or OCN or Stratus or whatever it's called now, it's a lot of fun to just explore the new things, and that's why I think that custom terrain is a go-to or can be used in any recorded rounds.
I hear you. Another reason to really like custom terrain, and here I'm going to look at Phobia for a moment because that's the season that really sticks in my mind in that regard, is that because of there being different blocks and different options, I mean, how you usually don't see Guardians, and I mean, episode 2 has just arrived, so people know that, okay, I was in a place with shitloads of sponges, and just caving with sponges, I mean, it is such a completely different experience, because you're fighting the water, you're fighting everything at the same time. It is a really different way of caving, because you handle the water completely differently, and I found that quite interesting myself.
Yeah. I really I don't have much more to say, honestly. I just agree. Custom terrain is just very nice.
Yeah.
I've become overwhelmed by the knowledge that's been dropped on me.
I mean,
as long as you keep in mind on how tedious your terrain is going to be, like amplified terrain, for example. Played that yesterday. It's like it's like I understand the mix-up of it, but it's just very tedious having to climb all the way up and then going back down and finding the level where everyone's fighting, you know. And then there's caving as well, where it's a pain in the ass to dig out. It's just like. It's just putting more effort for what? Just to give you a bit more place to walk around. It doesn't really aid much, even in fights.
Yeah, that's true. The terrain has to be balanced. Like, amplified terrain was fun in the beginning, but I remember winning a game because everyone died at meetup because I couldn't get there. I didn't have enough food, and I had to walk up all the hills up and down all the time. So it was super slow.
Yeah, they take incredibly long for anything to start happening because when two teams see each other, they're like 150 blocks apart, Y level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I see you up there on the Abu Khalifa, and I'm down here in this sinkhole in Somalia or something.
Yeah.
Somalian sinkhole.
They're all
Wait,
over
Somalia?
the place.
Where was that? Guatemala, I think the sinkhole. I don't know. There was that famous sinkhole. I can't remember what it was. It was Malaysia, I think.
Yeah,
right.
that famous sinkhole.
Yeah. I don't know why I said Somalia. Pirates. Arr.
Arr.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we did amplify terrain for season 9. It actually didn't go too bad. Like terrain didn't mess up that bad for us, I wouldn't think.
It did. Because you won.
Well, I mean,
but that wasn't due to the fact that the terrain was fucked up, rather than
yeah, that was
Edwin
due
is
to
a
the fact
cheater.
that I carried Edwin to shit. Edwin did nothing that game. I was just like, well, here's all the gold. Nah, he mined literally everything for me. I couldn't find shit. And he's like, hey team, look.
Yeah, it's a fair impression.
Like, by the time I got Fire and Armor, he's like, oh, I got Diamond Armor for you. Oh, okay.
Sounds about right.
That was my impression of Edwin. I hope he likes it.
I'll be well.
Well, if any last notes on custom terrain, or are we all terrained out for this segment?
I think
Before you continue, I have an interjection for the next topic, for something which I mentioned in Discord, but it was never added to the topic list, which I think might be interesting to mention, which is the in inverted commas release of Heroes in Battle 14.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Is that the one that someone cheated?
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of want to mention it, not just for the fact that someone cheated in it, but because it is the death of a quite a long running round.
An All-Stars round.
It was an All-Stars.
You mean the second there?
Yeah, it dying twice. Yes. Because I mean back in the day, I was a big fan of Heroes in Battle. I may or may not have tried really hard to get in at one point. You know how it is. You try and get really buddy with people trying to get around, but I learned that that's kind of not the way you go about it. But I really enjoyed it because I think if other people have said about Heroes in Battle is it was kind of like the first round to show that you don't have to be super well known in the community to have an RR and be liked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
as
their
far as that
quality
goes.
wasn't, it wasn't the best in the world, but either way, it was like, especially with their placement in All Stars, they definitely were the. I'm trying to find a good metaphor. I can't think of one. Fuck, I've had too much. But yeah, as you said, it definitely shows that you don't already need to have a large YouTube following. Just so long as you can prove you can upload and actually get stuff out at a watchable quality, good.
Yeah.
Because then it can start from there for all you know.
Yeah.
I think
just a
that's pretty
question.
much.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I was about to say. I think that's pretty much why I'm in recorded rounds. Upload on time.
Yeah.
That's about the only reason I'm in recorded rounds.
Not only that, you actually edit them.
True. Not always. Not always. It is, especially as of late. It is just
You even edit your raw
minimal
footage.
effort.
Like, who does that?
Well, there are people who do it. I mean, Frostbreath always edits, I think.
Oh, yeah.
There's a number of people who always edit, and then you have the people who can't even be bothered to splice on the intro.
Yeah,
I
I've
mean,
been
there are
less
two kinds
bothered
of
about
people.
editing as I go.
Alright, I
Yeah.
have a question for Heroes in Battle. Was it since I don't really know, was it the organizer who hacked or was it someone else?
No.
Alright,
person
then I actually
who-
have a comment to that because
Oh, please.
as an organizer, it is sometimes, especially if you run a recorded round that is kind of dead or inactive, like we do. For example, it is kind of hard since on the one hand, people expect you to have like the old roster people coming in, but on the other hand, the old people who left the community left it for a reason because they just don't care about any UHC anymore. Like R&R, for example, we had to let go of multiple people, mainly like from the Mindcool friend group, like we consisted of, because they just didn't care anymore. And if people play in a recorded round and they don't care about it and just joke around or are in a team speak with other people while playing that recorded round, that just isn't fun. So I think I know it's hard for an organizer to do that, but at that point you just have to make a clear cut on either you want to have fun with your friends or you actually want to run a recorded round and have to let go of those people.
Yeah.
And if
Definitely.
they're actually your friends, they will understand, because in the end it's just a recorded round. There are like 5 million recorded rounds out there. Other recorded rounds they can fuck up. And if they're actually your friends and respect you enough, they will understand it.
Yeah. And if they do care about recorded rounds they'd probably be in others already. And if they don't, and they leave that one, it's like, if they're not in any other rounds, then they clearly don't care as much anyway. So
The person who committed the crime was I don't mind name dropping, considering he's completely vanished from about everywhere online. Was Zack Attack, if that name rings a bell.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I
is
know
his
the
friend Attack Zack or something like that?
Yeah, he actually ended up teaming with Attack Zack in that recorded round.
Did he even do anything for this community? No offense, but it's like...
No, he played a couple recorded
he
rounds,
just-
most prominently Sertamina and Heroes in Battle.
Yeah, so he was just recorded round perspective, and that was all he was.
Yeah, and then I don't know, probably
I
a
hate
year
to
ago,
put it that way, but it's like, it's like...
he wasn't too influential.
Yeah.
About a
That's
year ago.
Sort of thing. Like, he didn't host or anything, so it's not like a huge, holy shit, what you're doing sort of thing. It's just, oh, that's a shame, and then he's gone.
Yeah.
About a year
definitely
ago, he
going
like
off of
completely
Kowalski's point on-
disappeared. Sorry.
Sorry.
He like completely disappeared, and then I was not too surprised to hear that he hacked in Heroes in Battle, because for somebody who like only plays other games and Steam games, has no attraction to the community, and only played a recorded round because they wanted to team with a close friend of theirs, I wasn't surprised to hear that he X-rayed in it. Apparently he still uploaded his footage, even though it had him X-raying in it, and that's how people found out about it in the first place. But
I still think it's just kind of absurd that it reached the point where he sent in his footage of him hacking, and it was just like, yeah, we're just gonna continue releasing this, because it's not like a case of like you didn't see the footage, or it's like it's just a rumor that they lost footage. It's just they allegedly hacked. No, it's like they actually recorded themselves hacking. They sent you footage of them hacking in the round. There's no ambiguity. It's kind of a little absurd.
In my opinion, that's just such an asshole move.
Oh, yeah.
If those people never appear in this community again, I'm happy that we actually got rid of them. Like they're like
There will be replacements.
I'm sorry, but if they're just assholes, they have no reason to be there and makes life harder for organizers who actually try to organize stuff not only for themselves but for another group of people. Another example that comes to my mind that was already probably discussed in another podcast was like the death of addiction. It's like Craftinator tried his hardest to get the last season happening, and people just didn't care and didn't respect him enough to do anything about it. And that's why it died, because people just were assholes to him.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Going back on Kowalski's point on Chuck on getting letting people leave that weren't interested anymore. That was like how the whole R&R Phil thing happened, like the gap in between season 5 and season 6. Season 6 came about like all of Michael went. Some of what at the time existed Nexus went as well. It was just like we lost about 10 players in between those 2 seasons. So there was a huge roster change, and people don't understand. It's like if they're not interested, they're not interested. It's as simple as that.
Would it be bad to say that we do have a topic for R&R Origins at the very end, so like we could talk about it there, maybe?
Keep some of the history stuff.
To talk about
it's the R&R podcast.
Much.
I
don't care.
Have some form of R&R in it.
I'm sorry.
Okay, fine.
No, it's
I'm pretty much done on that point anyway. So.
Guys, we still have 4 more topics to go through.
Yeah, but
it's fine. You're not gonna. Yeah,
you can guide us through this next topic.
To be honest, you might as well combine the next 2 into one.
Yeah, they're kind of. It's a 2-for-1 deal. The next thing we're talking about is the WMC contest, which I'm not going to say I won. I'm going to say the Mop won, because we all know he's the real winner.
Yeah.
I am. Mop?
There is 2 mops. There is Mop 19 and the Mop.
Is the Mop as much like Mop 19?
They both have Doctor Who skins, which is an extremely weird coincidence.
I love him already.
Yeah.
Love him already.
There's distinctly less bread involved, though, right?
There's a lot less bread.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So about the contest or contest in general for recorded rounds, would it be WMC, Phobia, TT? I don't know if there have been other recorded rounds who did contests.
Medallion. Medallion did a contest. I remember that.
I actually really like the idea or the concept of having like this contest. Like I have been, I think, a jury for 3 out of 4 contests for WMC, and the amazing stuff people actually put into these contests is insane. And it's sad that only like a few people get chosen from them. Like for example, the best example there who didn't make it for one of the WMC contests would be Born, because he actually put in an amazing video, but just for the wrong contest. Like he did like an amazing Australian, like there was, the contest subject was Australian, Aussie, New Zealand thing, and then the one after was building a spawn. And sadly, he only put his application in for the building spawn. But I'm pretty sure if he would have put his application in for the Aussie thing,
he would have won that easily. Yeah.
Definitely made that, because not sure if you have played with him or talked with him or watched some of his videos, but when it comes to commentary, that dude is a genius.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's basically how Born got into R&R.
I was in a game when when you originally asked the question, but I know Out of Orbit were going to do a competition for their final season.
Oh, true, they were.
Season
I talked
10.
with Grant about that a little bit.
They were going to
actually.
do a sign-ups competition.
They were going to have one special player to play the last season. Out of Orbit did intend to have a last season, that being season 10. They just never got around to it because neither of the organizers were interested in doing it anymore.
Well, they didn't have a 9 or 8 either, to be fair.
Well, they were close to having an 8.
Yeah, they were getting. I understand what they're saying. Like fun fact, Out of Orbit is the only recorded round I've ever asked for an invite to.
Huh. Interesting.
And I've got a positive KDR on it. 3-1, boys.
3-1 of that.
I almost fucking won the only season I played, man. I'm sad. I was like, half a heart away from winning or something.
Yeah, you
Seems
were.
familiar, man.
You were half.
Shut up.
Yeah, I was gonna say you
Shut
were
up.
half away from winning
Shut
several
up!
things.
I knew that was coming. Don't remind me about that one. We can't talk about that here.
Didn't you die? Didn't you die from having the low ground again burning?
Zip.
There's 2 R&R seasons that portrays too. So.
What seasons of Arna? I don't know what we're talking about. Wait, isn't the Arna topic till last? Yeah, I better
yeah,
leave it till then.
Okay, fair play. Okay.
That's it. Back to the
save myself
back to the WMC contest. I will say, Speedo and Top were robbed. I was, honest to God,
I like
so shocked that they were so low. I mean, they still got the top 8, but they were so low in the top 8.
Weren't they
I
like
don't
6?
think I voted for them.
They were the because okay.
I was allowed
Sound
to
like
vote.
sound
I
like
don't remember who I voted for.
this sounds like bragging, but I kind of was aware that I had a decent application that kind of went well with the team, but I was so confident that we were going to lose to Speedo and Top because their one was just theirs was amazing because it was very entertaining. It suited the theme very well. It was very creative. It was very well made. It was just fantastic, and the fact that they were placed so low in the top 8 is an absolute crime.
But do they have the bromance?
The one true bromance.
The thing that like really surprised me about the entire thing was I was actually was in a little bit of a school deal when Ferry was live streaming the results as he did, which made for a very interesting reveal. A lot of people ended up showing up to his live stream for it, but it was how close the votes were. Like the people who came in second place were only like 3 points off of winning. It was very, very close. The last like 3 or 4, I believe, were all just within a couple points of each other, which I found really interesting.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this was the hardest contest to vote on so far.
Yeah, I remember asking Ferry after I voted about what the standings were. He wouldn't tell me, but he would tell me that it was rather close. And one thing that hit me when the results came out and when I saw the vote counts is, or not just saw, but what I realized was that everybody grades the applications in different ways. I mean, some people are like, "Oh my god, that is such ingenious! How did they make that redstone contraption with command blocks, etc.?" You know, for one of them, and other people did something entirely different. It's hard to compare. And I realized at that point that my own standard for voting was completely different from the way other people voted, because I was like, okay, well, I've got voted for. I have a feeling it is not going to be the winners, but it is what I feel is best for WMC. And I think that is something that in future contests, organizers should probably keep in mind, from not just, hey, what would be interesting to give people a free choice, but let them do something that really shows, hey, they are a good fit. Because as amazing as that one redstone contraption was, for example, I don't feel it belonged in a UHC contest for, hey, join this UHC group, because I feel that it is the commentary, the final editing, stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
That builds a recorded round. And if you have like 20,000 hours to make an amazing redstone contraption, it is not going to make a difference for UHC. I'm sorry, but I feel
I'm fully behind that.
Something like that is something that future contests should really pay attention to. Just narrow it down. Give them freedom of choice in the topic, but just outrule stuff like, hey, redstone contraptions or other stuff that is obviously not going to really correspond to the goal of a recorded round of ultrahardcore. But that's my opinion.
But I think this was the first contest where actually something like that happened, because the other 2 contests before that actually had like proper subjects which people had to follow, like it being a spawn which people had to build, or like being an Australian or doing something with Australia.
Yeah, like
So I think
feel
it was
like
only
that.
for this.
I feel like that sort of links in with the judgment as well, because like I was in the jury for the spawn one, because like as what I used to be an Oxford builder. Granted, not a great one, but I had the basic fundamentals of like building within the game down. So it was like I sort of had to like lower my standards a bit, because you know I'm not expecting pro builders. It's only just UHC players. They're not gonna, not everyone's gonna be a build expert.
Yeah.
So it was like, so my opinion was sort of different than others, because like Boyce got second place, but I didn't give him any points at all. I mean, granted, looking back, I felt like I should have given him at least a few, but it was like, because there were just some bits that didn't make sense to me. Like he put barrier blocks over the wheat, but he didn't put any at the sides where people could jump off. Because I was watching his perspective, and there was a bit where he just walked, and I believe he literally just flew right through off the spawn, and it just didn't make sense to me. I really like phased ones though. I can't remember whose my favourite one was. But yeah, I get behind.
Definitely, there was definitely Rippers.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
Ripper the
can't
best.
remember. They're all out of my head. But
I don't
sorry,
feel it-
what? I think someone's coughing. Joey, you got a cold or something, mate?
I do actually. Thank you very much.
Okay. I
Yeah.
thought
No, I
thought there was an
no, no,
implication
I
coming my way.
legitimately do.
Never mind.
I don't feel it was the first time I saw such a discrepancy in applications. I mean, this is not technically ultra hardcore, but some people know that I was the head of Shatterheart for a while before that went tits up, and we did applications at one point, and even there you had the big difference between people. Oh, they are going to do Battle Lion claps and whatever, and some other people were showing stuff they built, and other people showed Redstone. But even there you saw really different ways of showing themselves of, hey, we would be a good addition. And
I applied for that way back when. Remember that?
yeah, I remember your name, but yeah, it's just really different depending, and you can't give people too much choice with applications, is what I'm trying to say. No matter the subject, ultra hardcore in particular is one that needs to be really narrow. SMP, okay, you have a lot of options and a lot of freedom in that, so it doesn't really matter there. But for ultra hardcore, you need to be narrow in the application, I feel.
Yeah, not even just recorded rounds though, but like even SMP contests or just anything. It does actually also give you like. Not just as organisers, but like you can look at other people and look at yourselves and just realise how talented you are. It's the same with like intros and everything as well. Like your ITZY community doesn't actually realise how talented a lot of you actually are. You've seen all these intros, you've seen all this art, you've seen all these people make music. A lot of like and the stuff they've done in game as well. A lot of people are really talented, whether it be in this game and outside of it. And contests also do give a big hand in showing that at the same time.
Agreed. I totally agree.
Yeah, I do agree.
Snicker bars, so don't doubt yourself on anything, yeah?
I do agree with the fact that WMC gave way too much free choice. Like, how the hell are you supposed to compare things which are totally different? Like, I liked the thing is, I don't think WMC have yet had a contest where they've done a perfect job. I feel like in the past they've either been too strict on it or too lenient. The past, like the building competition one, like. You know, if you can't build, that's it. Like you had no chance of getting in, and I did not like that. So I was hoping they were going to give you some more free choice, but then they literally made it so that you could do anything you wanted to. And I just think, how the hell do you actually compare videos that are nothing the same? I think Phobia achieves the same thing. I think, the Phobia, there's literally there's not a single boundary at all, and I don't like that. Like how I commend the people in Phobia who are going to have the job of judging that, because it's just ridiculous. Like how much free choice people are getting.
That. I understand that there's like a phrase out there that's like when you restrict something, it opens up more creativity if you have to work within the means of a given thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think for Phobia's idea, I kind of like it because they're judging people off of a couple things, but it's nothing too set in stone. It's like they're looking for somebody who's a good commentator, somebody who can get along with people, but most of all, something like scary that actually fits with the whole idea. If you can give a video of whatever that has an aroma of that, whether it's like making a song or like recording yourself doing something IRL or whatever, there's a lot of options and ways to be creative with it, but there's still a relative theme that you have to stick to with that one in particular. Which is nice.
Even though Phobia's one is a lot more open-ended than most, even if you put like so much effort, like a lot of effort into your application, if it doesn't relate to like Phobia or the general idea of Phobia at all, you're not going to win.
That's kind of like no offense to them, because they did a very good job with it and it was thoroughly entertaining. But like Katie and Zero's WMC application, that had nothing to do with WMC. It was a very entertaining video, but had nothing to do with WMC. And that's why it kind of flopped in the voting.
That's all. Yeah, that's basically why I didn't give them any proper points, because it wasn't for me what other videos had at that time for the contest.
Mm-hmm.
It was a really good video, so I had some really good laughs, but yeah.
Being on point and on topic is difficult.
It's applications for you, huh? Yep. We kind of transitioned into the Phobia one mid-conversation, so that worked.
Well, we combined them anyway. So.
Yeah.
I didn't even know Phobia did a contest.
It was rather recent. It hasn't ended
Midnight
yet.
is in it.
So
Longer
it's
doesn't matter.
midway.
In it, all
I'm
right.
not paying attention, so.
If you're making an application video, you go at it. Keep working. I'm sure it'll be good.
Yeah, definitely.
Have they got a theme for their contest? What is it?
Yeah,
it's kind of it's a very
possible.
it is not that. It's quite a general application of just like showing yourself off, but kind of, you know, best to probably keep it linked to Phobia in some way.
Scary
Just been
stuff.
Link your best screamer.
So I can't make an application on the Isle of Dogs.
I mean, you could, as long as you like show that you were scared of the Isle of Dogs.
Make the Isle of Dogs a really haunted place.
Reenact
You'll get
a horror film scene in Minecraft. Best one gets in. And the problem is you have to watch the actual horror film scene first and then shit your pants
Oh,
before
no.
actually judging.
Sounds fair to me. But yeah, if anybody has anything more to say about contests, feel free to do so before we hop into our next one.
I can test that statement.
I think we can
Contests
move
are
along.
amazing. The end.
Okay.
When are we going to have a dog contest?
Make that an R&R contest.
Alright, post a picture of your dog.
Alright.
Dog. Yes, it's our
Where's Jura?
best looking dog. If it's a greyhound, you get extra points from me.
Yeah, if
This
you
is
give us a
biased.
good idea for game modes, we're kind of out of ideas. You might get in, but we don't think we'll use a good game mode.
If your dog comes up
Give
with
us
a
that
game
good,
mode,
give
then
us an
he's in.
actual risk for reward game mode, please.
Looks like
I've
you're
never
at
heard you sound
Nintendo.
so
Shea.
desperate, Kowalski.
I am.
The amount of times he's gone on his knees.
Yeah. You don't want to know.
Yeah, you don't want to know the amount of times he's got on his knees for me.
Mm.
Oh.
Oh.
You're going to make this podcast unairable. You're aware of that. Right?
I mean,
No, that-
YouTube will probably fuck it up some way or another, so why not just let it be?
Nah, this is not bad. This is not like the application one.
I've
Oh, dear.
I've said fuck like at least 5 times. We're getting axed.
At least 5.
Yeah, looks like Bad Fan ain't making money off this episode.
Say fuck, fuck,
Kill
fuck.
my
Okay, now it's at
monetization.
least 5.
Good job.
Okay.
Bad Fan makes a living off this series, you know.
Oh yeah, like 5 cents per episode or something.
Anyway, I'm going for a piss. You move on to the next topic. I'll be back in like 2 minutes.
Okay.
All right.
Ooh.
Well, the next topic is a revisit of a topic that we did previously in the Kata episode, which is I made it up in the last one. It's what warrants a recorded round to be redone. So, what do you consider to be the point at which an RR should be redone? I personally think having someone hack, definitely.
Definitely.
No, I think that's fine personally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good.
You'd allow it.
Especially
as long
especially
as
if
they
they
upload.
send you your footage.
Yeah,
It's
as long
fine.
as they upload, it's a good watch.
Yeah, as long as you upload and send it to the organizer, it's fine.
Good watch, fun time.
Absolutely amazing.
No, like I feel like the main reason for me if a recorded round should like be redone is like if the winner is like really obvious, because like although people like enjoy like PvP, like that's clearly like the main like big thing like for recorded rounds lately is that people enjoy like the PvP stuff. But like if a winner is like so predictable from like episode 3 or 4, then like no one's like gonna enjoy like watching the rest of it because like it's pretty obvious what's gonna happen.
Exactly, and I feel that is also something that people who are in the recorded rounds and who are like, no, it was a good season, nothing went wrong, but except for that snowball then. But if people are like that, they tend to forget that you do a recorded round not only to have fun with each other, but also to produce episodes and to share it with people. Those episodes are meant to be watched, and if the season itself is not fun to watch, then you have failed the season. It is unfortunate, but it is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's RRs are for for the players, but also for viewers, and
For the
those
player,
two
EA
for-
Sports.
the two tend to be related. The two tend to be related quite a bit as well, because if you're making it for the players and the players don't have fun, then it's kind of fair to assume that people watching it might also not have fun. Which
Yeah.
they're kind of linked, but
That's been
even if people are like, yeah, there was good fights, it was fun. If you still think that from a viewer standpoint, it's not going to be interesting at all to watch, then you
Exactly.
shouldn't air it.
I feel
Even-
like Do you mind longer? Do you want to go on?
No,
or-
you go.
I feel like it doesn't like I feel like it doesn't matter if like someone gets a lot of kills and wins. I feel like it's just like if someone gets a lot of kills and wins, but they like had a lot of close fights and such, then like and like they got low a lot, then I feel like it shouldn't be redone because like I feel like
Yeah.
they definitely could have. For example, I think a really good example of that is a short gamer in Amelia, right?
Oh,
That was
yeah.
such a good season.
Even
though.
even
Because like he
even
got, like,
then
a lot
though
of
he
kills,
was
but at the same
even-
time it was a very very
yeah
close game.
he
and a very
he got a
fun
lot
game
of
to
kills.
watch.
If you just look at the kill board, you'd think, oh, yellow team stomped, but it wasn't yellow team. It was literally just short gamer as a solo in a team of 4 game, and he managed to
Yeah.
get 10 kills.
And the thing
You
was,
see-
he almost died like on 50 different occasions. Like it was a lot closer than you would have
Oh,
thought.
yeah.
The kill board just made make it look otherwise.
Like that's a good example of a quote unquote snowball. Well, it wasn't even a snowball.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a snowball because like a snowball is when like someone keeps getting better and better gear each kill.
And they
That
get like
wasn't snowball.
unkillable.
That was just him playing very well.
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
just
Which is what a
ruffled
recorded
over
round
everybody,
like, which is
Yeah.
what a good recorded round.
There's
perspective,
definitely
like, should be.
a lot of there definitely can be exceptions to the whole like in the case of a predictable winner, you could argue that out of
That's the
orbit
key,
season
predictable.
out of orbit season 4 the season 4 winners were predictable. The one team in the mystery team games to get all 5 players. Sure, yeah, if right up until like for the longest time while they were together as a team of 5 stomping everyone, yeah, it was predictable. But then the season was redeemed by the final fight, which was Sir 1v5ing and killing 3 of them, which was a beautiful finale. And, there can be moments that can salvage it, but just saying some of the fights were good usually doesn't tend to justify how unenjoyable it would be to watch as a viewer.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing that I persist nowadays. Which it kind of counters some points of people saying, "Hey, you guys on the RR podcast take RRs a little too seriously." There is a lot of RRs on the subreddit, and it's not like it's not like a few years ago when there was a few, and you kind of were hyped for coming around. There's always like 2 to 3 rounds going on at one time, most likely more. So usually. So, with the amount of rounds going on and existing that are just constantly being made, you really need to stand out. You really have to push. You really have to push to be exceptional and interesting, and to just go like winner's predictable, but the fights were good. You gotta try and. I'm not saying always push for the perfect season because that's going to be absolutely impossible, and you'll end up like. You'll end up with stuff like happened to like Addiction, where like if I remember like they would redo like seasons like 5 times, which was just crazy. But even if you're not pushing for perfect season, I feel like this is fine or that'll do should never be an attitude towards releasing a season. You should you should never be like yeah I guess we'll just go with this. You should always at least try and get something that you're not okay with being released, you're happy with being released.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's my monologue over.
Thank you.
I was
beautiful
muted for a
monologue.
while. Can someone like in like one sentence describe what was just talked about?
There are lots of rounds. Many rounds means you need to be different. Be happy
Okay.
with what you make.
Okay, fair enough. Thank
To
you.
be proud of what you create, I think.
Yeah.
even.
I was
Don't-
just saying if there's anything I could add to it, but no, there isn't really anything I can add to it.
If you end a season and you're like, thank God that's done, then you're doing
Yeah.
it wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah. Yeah.
With the
Yes.
can I add something to the topic? Is that okay?
Well,
Sure.
I mean, I added a whole topic. You're fine.
Oh, okay, good. So like with the like wanting to record rounds to be redone, like we talked about snowballs and everything. What do you guys think about like lack of like PvP? Like, I mean, like if a record round doesn't have like a lot of PvP before like the meetup, do you think like that should be redone? Like if the commentary was good, but like the PvP was not so good, or maybe
No, not at all. Like if you
Like-
take Arna
Let me-
3 for an example, where there was like basically no PvP until like the final 2 episodes, and then it was like this big brawl of all teams coming to meet up. I think it shouldn't be redone. It depends on how the actual meetup ends up there.
I think those are the seasons where the team composition is going to make a record round fall or rise to the top. I mean,
Yeah.
if you have good communication, good banter, etc., then 5 episodes without action is not going to be a problem. People are going to keep coming back to see me blow up the creepers, to hear Kowalski. I mean, all of that stuff. People are going to keep coming back for it, even if you suck. I mean, it doesn't matter as long as you are having fun with your team. That doesn't matter. But the game itself should not become predictable.
The only time I can see that being an issue is when not allowed deaths for, I don't know, 5 or so episodes is meaning that there's so many players left that it could cause the recorded round to go on for a very long time, ending in like episode 8 or 9 or
Gee,
something.
I wonder what recorded round could do that.
Well, that's why there's usually a meetup, right? So.
Yeah, but even with meetup, if everybody alive is still in the game, you're having like, I don't know, 24 players, 20 players
everyone's
go
still
to
alive as a
0-0 at the same
push.
time and,
Yeah, I wonder
fight for a while.
I wonder what round could have possibly done that for the first. For like the first.
I want to
4
say it was a
seasons.
Pathfinder one.
It was about 3 Pathfinder ones.
Oh.
Yeah.
And
No,
technically season 6 as well.
I
but
think you
season
need a
6 kinda-
snowballer in your recorded round, friend.
Season 6 was kind of similar to RNR3 because it had like one death, and then it had so many people coming together just before meetup.
Man, who was
the
the
action
force
was
odd?
really
Was it
good.
Katie?
Yes, actually it was.
Yeah, of course it was.
Nowadays,
Katie's like the longer of Pathfinder.
Katie is like the longer of every round she's in.
Including
Oh, bless her,
TT?
bless her.
And then they won a team in TTE, and then they were like the last 2 alive.
Team longer Vita. But yeah,
That's what I call
nowadays,
excellent carry.
nowadays, in contrast to how things were a few years ago, UHC has become a lot more PvP centric. So I feel like nowadays it's a little less likely to get away with having no PvP until meetup. I'm not saying it's always going to be garbage, but nowadays you really have to have good fights to really kind of have that be an okay
Especially
thing.
with some of the longer lasting recorded rounds, like us, for example, and R&R and WMC. I guess TTE as well. I want to say, like, because we're not as PvP centric. We do have a couple of like heavy PvPers, but it's not enough to have a ton of epic fights or anything.
Yeah.
It's like we're not as catered to those who really enjoy the PvP aspect of UHC. Like,
I mean,
rush everything.
I feel like I am a terrible or good example, depending on your viewpoint, in the sense that for my entire UHC career, I have never practiced for a round. I've always been like, I just go in and I try to be fresh. I try to not be that guy who is super experienced, because I am not going to be that guy who is going to get all the kills. Even if I try really hard, I'm not going to be that amazing. I'd rather be a bit original, have fun banter, not have the game get old to me. That's my intake. But the problem with that, especially in the last year or two, I've noticed, is that the skill ceiling has really increased. I have so much trouble. I feel like I need to go practicing, but I don't want to practice. Because the moment I have to go practicing, I'm just going to say, okay, I'm just going to stop with recorded rounds altogether. But that's my own view on it. It's not because I lose, but because I want to have fun.
Yeah, I've never really fussed about UHC enough to want to get good at it. That's why I've always just sort of like been
but you do amazing
sleeping
anyway.
at the same level the entire time. Huh?
Exactly. You do pretty good, from what I recall.
I mean, I won a cynical once. That one happens. They decided to fucking ignore me, and I was like, okay, take this then. I don't know how the fuck I got those 5 long shots though on Engar. I was fucking mystified. I didn't understand how I hit all of those. I just sort of shot at the air and hoped to hit. Oh, that one's going over there. Oh, that one hit. That one's going over there. That hit. All right, 360 blindfolded. Oh, that one hit.
I know that feeling.
Yeah. I've got so many 360 blindfold long shots in my day, man.
One more thing for
and I don't even practice for this game.
One more thing for the PvP only at meetups thing is like if people want to enforce like PvP earlier, they should just change the concept of the recorded rounds from 2 hours to a lower time. Because if you give the people like 2 hours to cave and just then to go to meetup, obviously you will have some people waiting that long, and if you have all the team having bad luck caving, have all of them waiting that long. Like, That's why I don't understand why that should ever be a reason to
Yeah.
redo a season.
Kind of similar, relate to that. I'm gonna make a bold prediction. I think within the next year, episode 7 meetups will be dead. I feel like within the next year, no one will do.
If recorded rounds are even around then.
Pathfinder will.
Well, I mean, definitely.
I will make it. I will be the exception.
Just to prove you wrong.
Just to prove you wrong, I will.
God damn it, Joey.
In 1 year's time, and then it will stop.
I feel like with how PvP centric UHC has become in recent times, I feel like episode 7 meetups, which have been a very long-standing tradition within RRs, I think that'll probably come to a close.
Episode 6 is already kind of taken over a bit.
Yeah, there's a lot of Ep6s.
Like something I thought that this is something I thought that this is something I think will happen eventually as well. Speaking of that, I wouldn't be surprised if it came to like hour long recorded rounds and it'd be like 10 minutes per episode.
I know that.
I disagree entirely. I never think that'll happen.
I know that when in Gala, the season before it died, season 6, meetup was at the start of episode 5, just because it fit the demand and play style of everybody in the recorded round. Nobody was really interested in having a super long UHC game, so they just shortened it 2 episodes past the norm. And I find that was interesting enough at the time.
I do feel like for like more commentary based recorded rounds that like aren't super competitive, I feel like episode 7 meetup's pretty good. Yeah. But like for PvP ones like Grudge Match, Cataclysm, and other ones that probably exist that I don't know because I don't watch PvP rounds much. I feel like having like episode 5 and 6 meetups are a pretty good idea.
Yeah,
So,
I
like,
agree.
Because there's like how many people subscribe to the subreddit now? Let me check. There's like over 7,000 people subscribe to the subreddit.
Apex did episode 5 meetup.
Like you can have like your free picks. So like maybe some people will watch for PvP, so they'll watch those rounds. Maybe they'll watch for like commentary, so they'll watch like the commentary based rounds. Like you can just take your pick of what recorded rounds you want to watch. I mean that's what pretty much everyone does. So like I don't think every round has to commit to the same style or format.
Exactly, that's what I think as well. Because if you want to watch UHC for kills, you watch highlights. If you watch UHC for the personalities, for the commentaries, for the fail, for the derps, for the succeeds, for the underdog,
you watch longer
for the underdog stories, that's what you watch recorded rounds for, right?
Uh-huh.
I mean, if you just want a compilation of kills, you might as well just make a highlight.
Yeah, and why stick to UHC? Why not just Battleline or whatever? I mean,
That's fair enough. I suppose.
part
Like,
of
in my
UHC is the
opinion-
building up and the caving and the randomness of finding good stuff or not good stuff, etc.
Like in my opinion, it would be really sad if like all the old formats of the recorded rounds would like die out, and there would be like no old titans like WMC left to fill like all those old shoes. Because if I watch a recorded round, I probably am going to watch people I actually enjoy watching for the commentary, and I'm pretty sure there are other people out there as well. But then on the other hand, there are people who want to watch for the PvP only, and then that's why they have like Cataclysm or the other PvP oriented.
Yeah.
I don't know the
Risk
name
and
right
reward.
now. Yeah, definitely.
Ah, yes, I remember what that slate face.
Speaking of risk and reward,
What a
Yeah,
shit.
that would be a good transition.
Yeah.
we can move on to our final topic, in which I think you guys have free reign on.
Yeah, just you guys just talk about R&R.
War
round.
Origins.
Actually,
That's
for
round
this
to
topic, I wish Dan was here because he probably has more
Yeah.
knowledge about all those risk and reward origin things than me. Because I remember how it all started. It was basically me and Dan coming together and saying like, "Hey man, WMC is like for us way too inclusive. We can't get in. Let's make our own recorded round. We want to invite our own old friends
Yeah,
to this
exactly.
recorded
You
round."
can't get in, and then years later, all four.
I mean,
of
to
you
be
have
fair,
played.
but at that point it was way too hard to get in.
Yeah.
Into that, and that was like
Yeah.
the only recorded rounds that was out there at that time. So we decided to just make our own recorded round, and then just invite our
Glorious
friends.
Isn't that how
Maybe.
like the huge chain of recorded rounds started. Though it's like, oh, we can't get to this round, so I'm gonna make my own, and it just happened a bit downwards
pretty
and
much.
downwards and downwards.
And now that's where we're at
And now
today.
we're at 73.
I still remember Kowalski inviting me to join Risk and Reward. I had never even considered. I was like, yeah, fuck yes, this sounds like fun.
Yeah.
I'll do it. But
I've never
thought I
spoken to
would
this bloke. Let's join.
Yeah, I never thought that I could even be in a recorded round. But Kowalski was like, yeah, you're my friend. I'm going to ask you. And I was like, great, I'm joining. So that's how it happened, basically. And now I'm all over, basically. So.
And then in the meantime, how Burning joined was like, Edwin wasn't the
Yeah, it was Edwin, innit?
We should invite Burning. He has
He made the
subs,
Minecraft montages.
And both me and Dan were like, who is that?
Yeah.
And then like,
Danzig was,
let's
he had
go
no
and
idea who I was.
Invite him. So that's
Yeah.
how Burning
I still
joined.
remember that short period. Like, I think I said this before, but there was this short period in R&R when I was the only one in the round for like a few months where I was not in
I
either
remember
Nexus
this.
or Minecool.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, I was the only one in that entire round for a good, like maybe a year, a few months actually. I can't remember the time span.
What's the
But I
one-
was like, yeah,
I
fuck
wasn't
you all,
there.
I have subscribers.
I wasn't in at the time, but like I remember you kept bringing up the story, yeah.
Yeah, but the time I was like, what, the most subbed guy on the subreddit, and now look where I am.
Oh god, yeah, you must.
I'm well
no offense,
behind
but you must
every
be so
UHC
far
ever
down
now.
now.
Yeah, I'm
How many
well
subs-
behind every
How many
UHC
subscribers do you have? Dibs was pretty high as well. But he's
I'm
only
at 8,000
reached
and
5.
something.
You're at
Let
me check.
8,000.
Dibs is still behind you. I thought you were lower.
Oh, I'm at 8,356. I'll just
Nice.
keep my numbers on private because I really don't give a shit about it. That's
Do you
literally the
still
only
upload
reason my
videos?
things are private. It's just like, don't judge my channel by my sub count. Watch it, see if you like it. If you don't, fuck off. Easy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I actually go into, like, in Engel's Discord, I say something stupid. I just say, like, meme in one word. That's all I say. I just say meme. And then
I'm
someone will say something like they remember me for my Minecraft montages. I was why they got into UHC and everything. And it's just like, even to this day, it's still really sweet to hear, and I like it.
Yeah.
I rewatch your montages very often.
I have never rewatched them in years.
You should watch
The only
my
thing
montage.
the only thing
I'm
of
pretty
mine
sure
I've
I
ever
knew who
rewatched
you were
was my
before I
not
knew
so
what
high
Reddit
but not
was.
quite spectacular
Oh.
Evilites.
A classic.
Those are-
The classic.
I definitely watched your Minecraft montages before joining Reddit.
I mean, I was inspired by Break Salad, so
Yeah, Break Salads was the
more
first
credit
ones I
goes to
watched.
him than anything.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's how I
Break
joined.
Salad is
Thank God, Break Salad.
Praise Break Salad. I love you, Break Salad. Ah, I get on my knees for you. Okay, that was a bit too far.
But basically, I remember like for season 1, I was super nervous before we actually had. I didn't even have to record. I was just sitting at 0-0 waiting 2 hours. Like that was actually so boring to just wait at 0-0.
Weren't you the one to decide the game mode to begin with?
Yeah,
Yeah.
You got yourself to
I
blame.
thought it was a really cool idea.
How do you feel right
And
now?
then, yeah,
I
and
still
then there
think
was the
it's a
whole
good idea, but I would never do that again.
yeah, there was a whole meme of like Dibscraft not being in R&R, right? And I was
Yeah.
thinking like for season 10, let's have Dibs in R&R finally, but as a shopkeeper standing at 0-0 for 2 hours.
Oh my god.
And to this day, he still hasn't played.
Is it maybe an idea to discuss the way the different seasons have evolved in terms of game modes and
Yeah.
why those game modes, etc.? I
know
mean, I
that
don't
had-
remember them at all, even though I played them, but it might be a nice discussion topic.
I know that
Kowalski
we
knows
had
them.
season 1 and season 1 with the shopkeeper game mode and season
Yes.
2 with the modes planned out before that. But then was a period where I was in Australia for season 3 and season 4 and even for season 2, so I can't really tell how those game modes came out.
I was actually just about to ask.
All,
You didn't
all
play
of
like
the
the
game
first 4
modes went
seasons.
fine
No, I
because
didn't.
like
I
season
said-
2 was a popular game mode anyway. Season 3 was literally just random teams and nothing else.
Oh yeah.
And season 4
Yeah.
was something you can do in vanilla Minecraft anyway. So there wasn't
What
really
was
much
it?
to
It
cock
was the
up on.
Potential Hearts, right?
Yeah,
Everybody had
Potential Hearts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually, yeah, I think at that time we were just more like, yeah, let's make a cool game mode that actually makes for an interesting game and adds like a little twist, but we would still want to keep it like as UHC as possible.
Yeah.
And then
That's-
season,
That's actually something that I've always found interesting is the fact that R&R 3 was just literally random teams vanilla, but it's gone down as one of the most like influential and memorable recorded rounds that people still hold to a very high standard today. Even though
Have
there
you
wasn't.
ever seen the
Yep.
montage of Heraldon for the meetup?
Oh,
Yeah, Heron's montage of it was like a perfect. Like the way he did the meetup was just perfect. It's got the best part out of the entire season.
People always say like you have to have like a really cool
Costanza
game
thought I was
mode.
like 30
and,
years
like,
old that season as well.
you have to have like a really cool game mode, really cool theme to make a record around interesting. R1R3 is a pure example that you don't.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
like you can still have a purely vanilla game and it can still be interesting.
yeah, like if you're starting a recording run now and it's your season 1, don't go vanilla. Like, what was the there was a recording run that started off and introduced a new theme, and it was like something of normality. I can't remember the name of the round.
Insight.
Yeah, I think that was the one, Insight, and then they started normality, and it was just vanilla. And it's like, it's your season 1. You're not going to grasp a lot of interest by doing.
That's an absolute cop out.
Yeah. It's like, I'm going to introduce this theme. Vanilla. Alright, dude.
That might be the one
You do
like
your thing,
exception.
Lamar.
That's the one exception.
Yeah. Is Insight still about now?
No.
It
Yeah,
did.
That's a dead.
It came back, but then it didn't.
Got it. See ya.
They've lost their
box
sons.
behind you. Nothing personnel, kid.
I should really start making puns.
Yeah. One thing. There are a few things I am proud about Varnado is how we've managed to keep the good old running gags going. Like every now and then we occasionally have the really awkward elevator at the start of the intros as well. I mean, like the public, like viewers don't really know about that too much, but it's like we need to put an awkward elevator in because every time Dance came out, he never knew what to say right after.
I've always got
We even
Baby
did it for
NT
Miners Up Above as well.
in the
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
script.
pretty
Baby
sure
NT.
that.
Okay, actually, can I ask this?
Yeah.
Because I'm not so sure about myself, and others might not know either. What is the origins of Baby NT, and where do you have him in the spawn all the time?
I'm
Put a
not
cactus in a
completely
pot
sure,
and we thought
I
it's
don't
Baby
think
NT.
anyone knows.
Yes, is
But-
that seriously it?
but I'm pretty sure that was during the time where anti-Bama was banned from the subreddit on the UBL.
Oh yeah.
And during that time, people on the UBL were obviously not allowed to play at any recorded rounds. So he couldn't play that
Even though
season, so we had like a replacement anti-Bama there.
Yeah.
But he never
The thing
actually
is,
got to
though,
play the season.
I still remember when one of the Ambition seasons came out and Nutty played despite being on the UBL. I remember specifically because I think it was you, Burning, commenting on it, saying stuff about the fact that Nutty was UBL, and then the UBL committee going, like the UBL has like no control over recorded rounds, which are essentially private games.
Yeah,
And then,
yeah,
like,
I
and
know,
then you-
that's what I was about to say to Kowalski's thing about NT Bummer. Is like it turns out that because we had Scorpion as well, who was
Yeah,
had
there was-
that
yeah,
was before we
Scorpion.
knew that he was hacking, or that
Yeah.
he was Greggy 18.
Yeah, let's go, Griggy.
I remember
boy,
I remember the
portrait.
yeah,
It's like he's back
the
as
reveal.
Griggy. Oh shit, no.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
another
also a pretty cool thing with like the trailers at the beginning. Did you do
Yeah.
some for season 3 as well?
Yeah, for season 3, it's like I just put out
Oh, yeah.
trailers weren't really a thing for recorded rounds either. I want to say, I'm tooting my own horn here, but I want to say I pioneered the trailers for recorded rounds on the subreddit at least, because I don't think there was any around at the time. Because
I'm
again,
pretty
there's
sure
only
you
like
did,
2
yeah.
rounds anyway. And it was it was just subliminal messages. I just put this random intro of a newcomer, just put a letter in the fucking title, and no one knew what was going on. But then Preambly cocked up. He accidentally released his episode 2 public.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then it just sort of I kept going because not everyone found out about it. Preambly apologized to me personally for it, so God bless him for that as well. Forgive him and such, etc. Blah blah blah. Blown up by
YouTube
Temple.
scheduling is such a pain sometimes.
Yeah, I don't think it was scheduling. I think it was just. Yeah, I think he said something about. I think he just he thought he saved it and it didn't. It was an honest mistake at the time because it was before scheduling was actually proper. I think within YouTube, I can't remember.
Well, I think it was
lots
2 years
fucking
ago
longer.
or so that I actually messed up with some episodes, but I don't think I messed up because I do them
Yeah.
all in a batch and I do them all at the same time with the timing and saving them. So I knew the times were correct. I can't mess it up because then all of them would be messed up, But there was there episode 3 was released of mine, and I was like, "What the fuck, YouTube? What did you do?" I mean, something is messy about YouTube scheduling sometimes. And for the hell of God, I really wish they would just put down a UTC time in the box so that I don't have to fuss about with my local time. It
Yeah.
just annoys me. But that's another rant entirely. Carry on.
Another thing with R&R I'm really happy about is the intro color schemes. I'm so glad I actually got that going. I mean, there's nothing behind them, but I'm just glad they exist, you know?
It's just
Like,
little things that keep like...
Yeah. It's like, I just feel like it's like one of the little things that keeps it significant, you know? It's like, you know, color-themed intros. Oh, that's an R&R thing, innit? I'm sad I couldn't keep the same pattern going for, like, you know, these ones onwards, but it's like, you know, I can't really think of, you know, say like 13 different colors without being significantly different. Like pink, like in terms of like visual effects and stuff, pink and red can look similar. Orange and brown can look similar. Like with R9, it's sort of like people get a cross between orange and brown. I've always said it was brown. I think. Yeah, I've always said it was brown.
I've always
season
felt
6 was
that
literally
burning...
just black and white. Sorry.
Yeah. I was about to say, I always felt that you did a really good job with the intros. You put a lot of attention into them in your own way, and I think that was very commendable.
Yeah. The intros just keep coming and they're getting better. Good surprises in intros, I tell you.
Well, when it comes to color coordinated intros, you might have to worry about chroma a little bit.
About what?
A recorded around which theme is colors.
Well, we were here first, so fuck them. They're copying us, if anything. It's like season 6 was black and white. You can't have 2 colours in one round, mate. You can't have 2 colours in one round. We can, because we don't.
R&R starts a feud with chroma.
Oh no!
You heard it here first.
All right. Gonna be like fucking Banksy spray painting on Westminster.
Basically, then we're at the point where Burning said what he's happy about with R&R. I'm going to say I'm not happy about with R&R that we basically didn't keep the risk versus reward thing up through all the seasons.
That's
which, in my opinion, is harder than I expected it to be.
I remember that when it was really early on. I recall saying to you once, I think it was in a chat or whatever, but you missed it or whatever, that I was like, okay, let's do the first one, risk and then reward, risk and reward, you know, toggle it every season. But somehow that got lost. You were so busy and you were doing all your things, so that got lost. And then suddenly we had season 2 or season 3, and by that time you couldn't switch to the alternating team. But I recall suggesting that, and it just not happening, which I've always felt it was a shame.
I mean, every now and then we had a few good seasons which actually lived the risk versus reward theme. Like was Risk of Affection season 12?
Right, yeah, no, mine was mostly in terms of the naming, you know, like you have risk of draw, risk of this, risk of that, but that we would have the second season of reward of friendship or reward of something else, you know, instead of having the risk title. That was always my idea back then.
I also don't know how we got with that name, because that's not what we based the game modes around originally.
Yeah, like risk for reward is an actual thing. Why risk and reward?
I don't know.
Well, I think the basic, idea was like having your pie and eating it too, you know, stuff like that, or having your cake and eating it too. Like from you are going to come up on top and you are going to walk away with the win. I think it was something like that, not getting backstabbed or whatever.
Cake and win. What a good round that sounds like.
Cake.
Someone take cake? Yes, please.
That's a round.
Ultra cake core, let's go.
Risk of diabetes? Yes, please.
Also, another thing I at least felt sorry for, at least all the players who had to go through this, was like when people actually started complaining about their R&R feel and just complained about all the new players joining the
that was so
they don't
sad
belong
for those guys.
there. What was not their fault at all.
It was not their fault at all.
It was just the viewers' fault, and they were still our friends. Like they were like every time we don't get together that often in Risk and Reward, and every time we get together, it's actually a pretty fun experience. It's like a cool group of people, and everyone we added, we at least made sure that they fit with the group, at least to that time when they were added.
Yeah.
I always feel that despite new people being added, that Risk and Reward has done a remarkably good job in making sure that even me, who does not interact with most of the community, ends up knowing the people or getting along with the people who are added. And that is really surprising, because all of the other rounds, I mean, I try to not vote on people who get added to rounds, because I'm like, I don't know them, and I'm just going to vote randomly, you know, because that's what it comes down to with me, because I have no time to check out episodes of 20 people or whatever. So I'm just like, okay, I'm not going to vote, or I'm going to vote for the 3 people that I basically know a little bit. But that's about the extent of my voting. And I don't help in that regard into making sure that, hey, it is a group I get along with. But that's also the problem you get when you ask me to vote for people to join.
I think we also had like a few people we just added because we actually thought they would fit. I think Joey, you were one of them we added just without a voting.
I was a sub, I think.
You were a sub?
Yeah, I was a sub.
All right, but I'm pretty sure we never voted on subs, so.
Yeah.
Subs was just a matter of, hey, this guy's available, let's add him.
Then we had back in the time, obviously, Sting Switch, NXNX,
Wake.
Yeah, we added someone else without a vote. Wasn't it Matt Susan?
Oh yeah, Matt Susan, but that was up to my recommendation.
Oh yes, Smelly Burrito, that was it.
Smelly Burrito.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
Honey Lala. That's basically the few we actually added without any votes.
Yeah, it's like they're here now, suck it up, deal with it, or fuck off.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, even if you don't want the votes to be biased, votes are always in some way or the other biased. So some people who actually probably should make it into that round just don't make it. So
yeah. Going back to the R&R Phil thing at the time, like I know more people sort of realise it now with more recorded rounds and more people actually like being in one or even organising one at some point in their life. It's like at the time people don't understand it's that getting new people in is what kept the round alive, because it's like if we try and get people that fit or try to keep those people that wanted to go to stay, and then like the seasons afterwards would have been of shit quality. They probably wouldn't have uploaded and not cared enough, or would have, X-rayed, sent us the footage, and then we would have uploaded it.
Nothing can stay the same. Everything needs to change. I mean, it's just the nature of things.
After every now and then, it's like, every... Like, for R&R 12 it was, it's like, for our 3-year anniversary, we decided to ask a few older people. It's like, since they're gone, we can bring them back for like this one, and it's just a bit more hype. Like we had Tyler, Jake, and Insane Guy and Matt Susan all come back for just the one season.
And Kittens.
Yeah, and Kittens, and they actually uploaded it, and then that was it. They don't have to worry again. It's like if you keep things like in good terms, you can make a hype comeback season like that. They upload, everything works properly, and we good.
Yeah, I also know for a thing that there are certain people who told me, like, keep reminding me every season or every other season that there is a season, and then I can say, yeah, I want to play or not. But mainly it's like, if it's an FFA season, people usually don't want to play. If it's a team season, they're like, maybe, I'm not sure if I know all the new people. Maybe if I only can play with like certain people. For example, Tyler and Jake really wanted to play together because they knew they would get along.
Yeah. Like stuff like that makes sense, and it also at the same time makes for great content. Which it's basically why we put Wish teams with bringing back older players, because it just made sense, really, wouldn't it? Because you wouldn't want to bring back, like put Tyler with who was in R&R 12 at the time? Was Born on there, was it?
It can be hard to balance, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Just like putting two people who've never met, it's like it just probably wouldn't. It's a bit of a gamble on whether or not they'd mix together.
True.
Oh yeah, one more thing I want to actually highlight, since probably many people have forgotten about those two videos. It's like Burning did a few good teasers for the thing, but in my opinion, the two best trailers that have been made for R&R were made by Sting Switch. For I don't even know what season. I think one was for season 12 with the Risk of Affection hard at the end breaking.
Yeah, the season 11.
Yep.
Risk of Affection.
Oh yeah, season 11.
Yeah, the other one was season 8.
I don't know if you
wasn't it for the one that like previously on Risk and Reward. I think it was season 7.
Yeah, none of us can fucking remember clearly.
It was definitely like previously on Risk and Reward, and I remember it could have been season 5 actually. It might. I think it was season 5 actually.
Yeah, it was season 5 because at the end I said, "Yeah, welcome to Risk and Reward" or something like that, and that was the first season I actually properly played. Yeah. You're right, Joey. I mean, if you want, I can find out the links after the podcast and just give it for the description.
That is one thing that does make me sad.
No, he doesn't have it deleted. I asked him. I still watch them from time to time because it's good times.
Good old times.
That is one thing that does kind of like sad me about Arnado, because like a lot of the older players we had, and because we have a lot of players that have left and stuff, like a lot of the videos have either been like privated forever or deleted, and it's just like they can't be watched again. No one, I don't think, to my knowledge, has downloaded them, but it's like, it is what it is, sort of thing. Yeah. Like people do get pissed when like people quit YouTube and then delete all their videos. It's like, I understand why you're upset, but it's like, it's all fair game. It's their channel. If they want to delete it, they can. It's like, they have no reason to give it to you. It's entirely up to their generosity and like personal whatevers,
Preference,
whether or not they want to keep it up there. So, like, with, I don't know, like Preambly, Gnome, or whatever they've done. I don't know how many have unlisted or privated or whatever, but I know they're at the very least not public on their channel. And it's like, that's fine. I'm not going to nag them for it or anything.
Yeah.
Alas.
Kowalski, was that a smuggled laugh?
No.
No, okay. Was that you getting cozy? Yep, okay, never mind then.
Another thing I just feel like needs pointing out. I mean, Risk Reward Season 4, me and Burning, living the life.
5.
Oh yeah.
What's Season 5? Not was Season 4, right?
Yep, Season 5, me.
That was also the season with like the team of Versa and Fairy Juice, and they...
Four was the FA.
Yeah. I always forget that phrase.
We can thank
Team
that season
Versa and
for
Fairy Juice, right? The name of that team was actually meant to be Fairy Juice and Versa. I just put the names the wrong fucking way around.
There's also another intro I
Fairy
watched
wanted
this
it
in preparation, and I know that there is a team, I don't know what Recorded Round is anymore, but that is airing right now with a certain season that has a team Versa and Fairy Juice again. Like, what the hell?
It's like it was what, it's been literally over 3 years at this point, and people are still putting Versa and Fairy Juice.
Yeah, people still use
you've
it
got
pretty
all these,
often.
Like, really, you've got these flashy and stupid team names, and then you've got Versa and Fairy Juice. And it was meant to be Fairy Juice and Versa because like Fairy wanted it, so Fairy Juice was on Versa's side, and Versa was on Fairy's side. Also, if you want something that will piss you off, on probably some people's episodes of R&R5, right? If you look at the intro, do you know how the names are scrolling up the left and right hand sides vertically? If you go to zeros, if you go to zeros, right, look at his. It actually stops it for a little bit at the end before it moves on to the next people. I didn't realise that when I finished it, and no one had spotted it since. I don't think so.
There you have it.
And now you know, and now you will look at Zero's name suddenly stop among the right hand side,
I
whatever side he's on, and then you will
I found the team name that was Versa and Fairy Juice.
Another thing that comes to my mind with R&R, do you guys know if the Recorded Round calendar, not calendar, the Recorded Round, yeah, actually calendar is still a thing?
You mean like the scheduling doc?
Oh yeah,
the Recorded Round calendar.
Yeah.
Is it still
you guys don't
actively?
use that,
boy.
Is it still actively being used?
Yes, not the version that was originally established. We moved on to a different format with Google Docs, but it still exists.
Wait, Google Docs was way before that as well.
Yeah, I don't understand what you're trying to display here.
The original calendar was done in a Google Doc. Yeah. However, it was recently converted into a Google Sheet.
Sorry, that's
so it's actually like a database now.
So it's like literally the exact same thing, just better laid out.
It's a much more organized.
It's very nice.
Are there actually people properly organizing it now?
This man right here.
I made the doc. I do not organize I don't organize any round, but I do have the doc through pure bullshit
by himself.
Because I remember that besides Cynical, we were one of the, or at least one of the Recorded Rounds that left the calendar and scheduling thing. In my opinion, mainly because it lacked any organizing back in the time. Like, you remember how it started with all the recorded rounds? And then everyone just submits the time where they wanted to upload. And all of a sudden, there were like all the new season 1s coming out. And then I think it was Ginger decided that it was like too many recorded rounds at once. So he made like the rule was like only starting at season 2, which just prolonged the problem to like.
Yeah, it was Ginger and a couple
year.
Of others.
Yeah. So and then there was basically no organization in the recording round. Everyone was just fighting. First it was for the dates, then it was for the game modes that they couldn't be similar around the same time and all that stuff. And I'm glad that you're actually doing the organization now, Chesnick, at least if I understand it.
There's no the thing about this version of the calendar, there's nothing for game modes. There's absolutely no control over game modes or anything, just for doing whatever you want.
Proper times.
Yeah, and in terms of having rounds released at the same time, it's there's a lot of, instead of it being a forced rule, there's a lot of cases of just like people writing in the chat like, all right, we've scheduled our round for this time. Kind of overlaps with this one a little bit, and maybe this one a bit. If you have any issues with it, we can talk about it. So it's a lot more civilized than what I imagine it used to be.
Yeah.
Is
I'm glad to hear that,
is
because I
iPad
guess-
fan no longer able to talk?
No, he's not capable of talking.
The
Well,
feel of the
that-
game
you
is
know,
too
fair
intense.
But yeah, in case people weren't aware,
We have been going
recorded
for
rounds
like
are serious business.
over
2
2
hours.
hours now at this
Oh,
point.
no, I think it's like exactly 2 hours roundabout.
Yeah.
Well, do you
Yeah.
have
We
any
can
more
make it a bit
questions to
longer.
us,
People
then?
have gone without the podcast for so long. A little bit longer can't hurt.
You know what? We can go for another hour.
If they ask,
Yeah.
Exactly.
if they ask why is it so long, it's just like it's been 2 months. We have a lot to catch up on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the RR roundup.
Like, if you do want to hear more like shit about R&R, me and Kowalski when we teamed in season 13, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we had a good talk for a couple of episodes, which I do suggest people go and watch because it's just basically us being whinge bags about not just recorded rounds but UHC in general. It's all at the same time. It's just you want a good discussion on like R&R stuff as well as UHC stuff from people who only really play when we're asked. And I can't remember what episodes they were exactly, but season 13, and we're like standing by a fucking pond for a bit, sticking rods in the ocean.
Also,
Should be easy enough to find.
before we wrap this up, do you have any questions to Anar? Because I can't think of everything on top of my head,
Me
obviously.
neither.
Yeah.
Questions are welcome.
Yeah.
AMA.
Go.
This
ask
would have
us,
been helpful to
iPad
ask earlier.
Well, we're asking it now.
When this hasn't been going on for 2 hours.
Oh, we put them to sleep now, did we?
Maybe.
The risk of a risk and reward podcast.
Risk of podcast.
Risk of
Risk of a
podcasts,
rewarding
guys.
podcast.
But yeah,
yeah.
are there any like questions you want to give R&R?
Well, I'm
Don't think we have
sure,
anything, really.
we'll hear some eventually.
Yeah, not really
Podcast
from
airs.
me, but I'm sure there's going to be some other ones out there. You guys are a pretty well-established round at this point, and being featured on a podcast, you know, kind of bringing the name back up again. I think
It
there'll be
was about
some.
time.
It's just been,
Yeah.
you know, frequent, I suppose.
You are still alive, right? Because that's,
No
because that's
comment.
something because that's something people always wonder, like, oh,
No.
is R&R still a thing?
Risk and reward is dead.
I mean, I just want to point out that Dance isn't organizing anymore, so
Yeah, Dance
the
is not an
organizing
organizer.
is down to me and Burning, and I'm already lazy. And
He's gonna start going
I
off
think-
on me. I have the podcast and the podcast.
I
He's gonna
think
start
Kowalski was
going
going
off.
to say something.
Thank you for
Hey,
watching the podcast.
Thank you for watching, not even listening, just staring at this picture for 2 hours.
Yeah, that's a good job.
I do think we intend on having somebody, a little certain special person, come and sign us out. So whenever he's ready for that, he'll be popping in here.
Wait, you actually got someone?
Yeah.
Wait, you actually got Krenz? Let's go, Krenz. Who the fuck?
well,
Hello.
Oh
Wow.
my god.
Wow.
Who are you?
Explain
Hi.
yourself.
Someone.
Bad fan told me to be here.
I'm glad and sign us off.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Thin White Male. Welcome.
Hi,
I love Finn Whiteman.
me too.
Everybody loves him.
Welcome to Risk and Reward.
Thank you.
You're
So-
actually gonna burn? We're in the-
Hint,
you can-
you're
Risk of-
closing the
risk of one-
podcast.
And do you want me to do that now? Bad,
Yeah.
Bad fan didn't give me any instructions, just told me to join.
Yeah,
You're our Project McCabe for this episode.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for watching the RR podcast. This has been Risk and Reward. See you next time.
Bye bye. Subscribe to Burning Tea.